Welcome back to the channel. This is Trinity Storm and you are watching third and final part of What If Naruto Was Descendant of Alucard. If you enjoy this video, please like, share and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no time, let's start the story.
At the arena, Sai and Kimimaro lunged at one another, intending to cause significant harm. Kimimaro delivered a punch with a bone protruding from his arm. Sai leapt to the side and kicked Kimimaro in the head. Sai leapt back, clutching his foot, his eyes widening with agony. When he turned to face Kimimaro, he saw that a bone had fallen to the floor on his face. "My bloodline, the dead bone pulse, is visible to you." Kimimaro smirked and said, "I can bring my bones out of my body and use them as weapons. I can also change the density of my bones." Sai grinned. "I possess a special talent as well," Sai remarked, removing a painting depicting a rather massive dragon. Kimimaro asked, "Painting?" As he had to avoid a flame that was coming from the resurrected dragon. "I am descended from someone. I'm not sure what it's called, but I can make my paintings come to life," Sai remarked. From the upper bleachers, Naruto kept a close eye on the fight. There was a problem. A great deal of power was being withheld by the Sound's ninja. He saw that the big man was about to use a forceful move, but he broke and forfeited. As Naruto moved to the side, Rin, who had red shoulders and a yellow jacket, met him. Naruto asked, "Rin, you noticed it too?" Rin gave a nod. "I pulled a few strings and looked up any sound related information we had. We have no idea where it is, who the cage is, or any other information. It almost seems like a big group that merely moves around and switches leaders. I have a few people patrolling the city in groups of 3 to make sure nothing goes wrong," smirked Rin. Furuto furrowed his brow. "Members of what?" inquired Naruto, removing a bandana bearing the Hellsing coat of arms. "Not even a week ago, the third Hokage officially declared it." Naruto gave a big smile. Naruto exclaimed, "Perfect," upon hearing the sounds of the battle coming to an end. Again inside the arena, Kimimaro was struggling because his body was beginning to fail him once more. "Proctor, I can no longer battle, so I forfeit this march," Kimimaro said. While many people booed, Kimimaro simply turned to leave. His one and only true friend met him as soon as he entered the hall. She felt his head and he fell quickly into her arms. "You jerk, you overexerted yourself. You realize what that might do to you," Tayuya remarked as she observed him. Kimimaro's breathing became labored. "That bastard is entirely to blame." Kimimaro exclaimed, "I would kill him in a heartbeat if I could just get rid of that damn curse mark." Tayuya nibbled on her lower lip. They had discussed this matter numerous times. Tayuya followed Kimimaro, even though Orochimaru may have located her. They had crossed paths following a raid by a few wise ninja on her small village. She was forced to see her mother raped. Even for a brief while, Kimimaro prevented her from suffering that fate. Like the first person he marked, they wanted to be free of Orochimaru, but after he marked her, they became afraid because he could kill them if he thought they were disobeying him in any way. "Maybe, but I think that Hellsing can help not only me, but maybe help you," Tayuya replied. "Huh. Don't be naive, please." Kimimaro responded, "You and I both know I'm not long for this world, only to receive a slap." "Speak nothing like this. Don't say such things about us. We're all we have left," Tayuya said, her eyes welling with tears. "All right," Kimimaro replied. "Kimimaro and Tayuya, you know Orochimaru. Sama would kill you for saying such things." "Tayuya, he would have every soldier he has rape you," Kabuto uttered as he emerged from the shadows. "I might have to be the first," Kabuto exclaimed as he leapt out of the path of a slash of bone. Kimimaro passed out and began to cough. "You animals can never again go near her, in my opinion. Not after your actions, Kabuto." "Ni. San," as Tayuya began to tremble, Kimimaro spoke. "You can unwind. I won't divulge any information to you guys," Kabuto said. "Why not? You didn't mind raping me when I was 11 years old?" Tayuya questioned. Kabuto took his shirt off. They saw a curse mark they had never seen before. It appeared to be a snake encircling a skull. "I raped you for this reason. Orochimaru uses an extremely rare curse seal on people he desires to be his lifelong slaves. It has been present for almost 9 years. Only a small portion of it could I offset. I'm pretty sure this is the last time I show you guys some love before it takes over entirely." In any case, I apologize for the rape I committed on you all those years ago. Remove those seals as quickly as you can. Orochimaru still aspires to have the perfect body and everything, Kabuto remarked, pulling up a hood and turning to leave. With an embrace, Tayuya said, he really did care for us like in the old days, embracing Kimimaro. Kimimaro said, yes, he does, but some things are unforgivable, as Kin and Dosu materialized in front of them. Again inside the arena. The next round was eagerly anticipated by many. Kurabi was smiling as she watched the battle. He hadn't had the opportunity to let his hair down much in a long time. He reasoned that the one guy Naruto would be able to provide him with the fight he was seeking. Kurabi was not a simpleton. Even though he was aware that what he was saying was just his pride as a swordsman, he still desired to battle a worthy foe. He envisioned a battle so tremendous that the sheer force of the assaults would cause the earth to tremble. As Kurabi thought, I feel like my dream is close at hand. In collaboration with Zabuza. Zabuza was patrolling the city's periphery with a small group of Shunin when he noticed something. It appeared as though Nin was clearing the area. Not one to take chances, Zabuza emerged from behind the man and severed his head. Zabuza fished around in his pockets and discovered a tiny, intricate map of Konoha. Higa acquired the Anbu. Zabuza remarked, I believe Sound is preparing something, as the left disappeared. An apprentice swordsman asked Zabuza, what's wrong, Zabuza? Sama? Zabuza smiled. Today, don't let your guard down. I sense a tempest approaching, Zabuza uttered. Returning to the stadium. The entire audience became raucous as they anticipated the next bout. Shikamaru descended with a sense of worth that had grown over time. Contrary to what most people believed, he was not a sloth. He simply relished the simple things in life. He could not be blamed by anyone for it. He saw the girl he was supposed to fight was standing directly in front of him. Tayuya said, tell the proctor I quit. Shikamaru's eyes grew narrower. Why not? You could probably kill me if you wanted to, in my opinion, Shikamaru remarked. Tayuya gave him a glance. Tayuya started to walk past him and said, you're right, I could, but there's something more important to me than this battle. Shikamaru inquired, what would that be? The life of the one person I love to the point of no return, Tayuya uttered as she turned to leave. Shikamaru had no intention of stopping her. He simply approached the proctor and related what had transpired. After the proctor explained what had happened, everyone fell silent. It was becoming increasingly bizarre. Before they truly had a chance to let loose, every member of the sound squad had given up, but the majority didn't seem to care. The fight that many had been waiting to see was finally here. Neji Hyuga vs Sasuke Uchiha. An ancient rivalry. A battle of the most powerful bloodlines in Konoha. Hyuga vs Uchiha. The copying eye versus the all-seeing eye. Will Sasuke Uchiha and Neji Hyuga kindly make your way to the ring, Genma said. Unexpectedly, Sasuke and Kakashi materialized, and Neji leapt into the ring. Sasuke was dressed in a black shirt, white pants, a long blue jacket, and small square-shaped glasses. He gave Neji a smug smile. In the company of the girls. To put it mildly, they were all taken aback. In comparison to Naruto, he would only place second in a contest of cool. Both Yoko and Ceres gave him a dissatisfied glance. Bastard stole my look, suddenly appeared Naruto. Misato said, hey too. San, and Naruto planted a kiss on the top of her head. Hi, Misato. In any case, I'm not that angry. Though it doesn't suit him, he manages to pull it off. It's not like he's wearing it to look cool. Sasuke has now reached at least high Chunin level. It almost makes me wish I was the one fighting him, to think that he could leap so far in power with just one mouth, said Naruto. Below the ring. After giving each other a fierce look, Sasuke removed his glasses and turned on his Sharingan. Neji turned on his Byakugan and fixed his gaze on himself. Sasuke Uchiha Bagan vs. Neji Hyuga, Genma and Kakashi both stepped aside. It didn't take two tails to tell either boy. Taking a 5-pointed shuriken from his sleeve, Sasuke threw it towards Neji. Neji easily sidestepped it and lunged toward Sasuke, who had assumed a fierce, offensive stance. They both launched a strong attack as soon as they were within striking distance of one another. Sasuke struck Neji's side, and Neji struck Sasuke's arm. Now that Neji had spit up, Sasuke was having trouble moving his arm. They both leapt away from each other. Neji massaged his side as Sasuke struck his arm to restore sensation. Neji remarked, "You're a lot stronger than I thought." "You are too," Sasuke remarked. Nevertheless, Neji remarked, "A whimpering Uchiha could never outdo a Hyuga. We shall investigate that. Naruto will have to accept that this fight might last for hours, even though I wanted to save this for him." As his Sharingan took on a new form, Sasuke uttered the words, "Soul Sharingan." "I learned a lot about this product right here, but I like how it increases my strength." Sasuke charged Neji with a flaming fist, fire style, white blaze jutsu. Neji leapt to the side and began dodging fists that were on fire. Neji leapt back and gave Sasuke a kick to the gut. Most of our clan's elders were unaware that we were rivals not just because of our eyes but also because the Hyuga were experts at water fighting. Water encircling his hands and feet, Neji said, "Water style, pulsing palm jutsu." The boys launched themselves at one another, beginning what was beginning to resemble a dance. From the bleachers, Runa and Yoko were grinning together. Naruto gave them both a quick glance. Naruto inquired, "What is so amusing?" "While both of them are using some power, neither one is close to the full power of it," Yoko replied. "Besides, using it with their respective styles makes it predictable," Runa added. "You're right," Naruto replied, turning back to face the match to discover Misato dozing off on a drowsy Yoko's arm. "What's happening? I want to go to sleep." "Damn it!" Naruto exclaimed, calling out Kai. Everyone within 20 feet of Naruto was awakened by Kai. He hurried to the rail and glanced at Neji and Sasuke, who appeared stunned. "Put some gear on your asses." A sound ninja materialized behind Naruto, who uttered the words, "An invasion is happening." Misato exclaimed, "Look out Tou! San." Joshua was shot in the head by Naruto after he slipped the gun out of its holster. Alongside Haruno and Danzo. Both had irate looks as they stood atop a building. "Goddamn that idiot. He took the gun too soon. We must act right away." "You're right. My Nei and everyone who supports our cause." As soon as Haruno pulled a red flare out of her bag and fired it into the air, Danzo declared, "We will take this village as we agreed with Orochimaru." It burst into crimson smoke. Immediately, a group of Chunin from the side of the civilians emerged. They were all dressed in robes with the leaf symbol scuffed through them, and they were wearing tan jackets in place of vests. "Yes, my lady," the obdurate leader replied. "Is everything ready?" With a hint of desire in her gaze, Haruno inquired. "Yes, ma'am." A warrior on the right stated, "We fear that Orochimaru might kill Hellsing first, even though a unit is already pursuing him." Danzo said, "Orochimaru knows out deal. Relax." Minutes earlier, in the cage booth. After exchanging brief blows, Kushina and the cage leapt into the air and climbed to the biggest rooftop they could locate. Beside their cage, Yugito and Kurabi materialized. Kurabi questioned, "Brother, what are we to do?" "Sound will not attempt anything. Konoha has a duty to keep us safe because we are visitors. But if Sound tries us, we'll kill them," the Raikage uttered. In partnership with Kushina. With a sly smile on her face, Kushina faced the cage. "I should have known you'd pull some this shit, Orochimaru," Kushina remarked as he removed the cage robes to reveal a blood red suit that resembled Sarutobi's. Orochimaru grinned at her as he undressed. "I expected you to see right through me." Orochimaru remarked, "It's unfortunate that I never got to play with you." Kushina gave him a disgusted look. "I'm going to kill you," Kushina uttered as Jiraiya and Sarutobi materialized beside her. "Sorry Kushina. Chan, we got first dibs on this one," Jiraiya responded. Sarutobi Kabuto, accompanied by 3 members of the Sound 4, said, "Sorry kids, but this is my mistake and I'll be the one to kill him." "Where's Tayuya and Kimimaro?" Orochimaru was asked. Kabuto remarked, "In hiding, but Yukon will take her place," as a sizable purple barrier materialized. It was clear that a fierce battle was about to break out as everyone got ready for it. With the intention of killing both Jiraiya and Sarutobi, Orochimaru charged at them both. With a scowl, Kabuto took out a dagger and lunged towards Kushina. Within the stadium, Sakura, Shizune, Rin, Kakashi, Kiba, and the rest were protecting sound, sand, and those who seemed to be betraying the leaf, while also taking down sand. 6 Jonins surrounded Naruto when he was getting close to the center of the town. Every tone expert. We have you, little leaf nin, uttered by the individual ahead. With a sly smile, Naruto took out his jackal and dispatched his adversaries with the brother guns. The earth jutsu almost hit Naruto, so he dodged it. He witnessed a sand nin attempt a second strike before being struck by a prio gush. The man who did it was next to Naruto when he landed on the roof. Naruto shot a man who attempted to kill Ibiki and said, "What took you so long, Ibiki?" "As my own division attempted to kill me, I had to kill them." Ibiki remarked, "The odd thing is that they were raised by civilians." As more people came, Naruto scowled. "Oh no, it's already begun." Ibiki leads 12 men to the east gate, where he is ready to kill anyone behaving even slightly strangely. "Yugo, take your Anbu unit and destroy as many root units as you can. Next, destroy the Roots HQ. The remaining members of your team should go to the academy to guard the children and assist you in the event that one of them dies." Naruto yelled, "I want this done yesterday." Everyone else disappears, leaving 10 men. Naruto. San. This is the best place to distribute information. A man who appeared to be at least 20 said, "I would like to be here for that," but Naruto was drawn to him because he was wearing a black vest. "What is your name?" "Kodamo," the man uttered. "Hellsing Agent Kodamo, I give you tactical command of this area," said Naruto as he felt a barrier go up. "I need to go," said Naruto, jumping towards the source of the power. Naruto landed near Anbu units who stood waiting for the barrier to come down. Naruto looked down and saw a few sound bodies and more than a few sand bodies courtesy of Tsunade. He looked inside the barrier and saw his mother fighting Kabuto, and it looked like it was a stalemate. Sarutobi and Jiraiya were battling Orochimaru, and between them it looked like that had the upper hand. "Fuck this." Releasing control restrictions to level 4, said Naruto as he charged up a Rasengan and slammed it into the barrier. The barrier tore open and Naruto jumped high. The barrier closed right back up, but Naruto didn't care as he decked Kabuto hard enough to send him into Orochimaru. Both men rose and glared at Naruto. "Again and again, and again you stop me, brat. If the leaving can't stop you, let's see what the dead can do." "Forbidden art. Resurrection of the underworld," said Orochimaru as 2 coffins rose from the ground with first and second on it. "Sorry you bastard, but there won't be a fourth," said Naruto as he stopped the last one from coming up. "So what, you stopped the 4th Hokage from returning, but you can't stop these 2, said Orochimaru as the lids fell away, revealing the 1st and 2nd Hokages. "What's the game plan, Hokage?" "Sama?" asked Sarutobi. "It feels weird calling someone else Hokage," thought Sarutobi. "Alright, it goes like this: Jiraiya will take Kabuto, Sarutobi the 1st. I got the 2nd, and Naruto get Orochimaru," said Kushina as Orochimaru let them make their moves. Naruto walked over to Orochimaru drawing his sword. "Hold on now. Naruto is strong, but to face Orochimaru," said Sarutobi, worried about Naruto. "Sarutobi, I have faith in my son, and so should you," said Kushina as she walked over to the 2nd. "Now that everyone is ready, let's dance," said Orochimaru as he charged at Naruto. Naruto blocked his sword strike with a parry and shot at him. Orochimaru ducked to the side and used his tongue to wrap around Naruto's arm. Naruto clawed at his tongue, but Orochimaru let go. "Fire style. Dragon Bomb Jutsu," said Orochimaru, blasting out a few fireballs. "Water style. Dragon Bomb Jutsu," said Naruto, firing off his own. While fire style burned, the water explosion turned to ice. The 2 attacks countered each other and let out harmless steam. "I guess you're a lot tougher than I thought," said Orochimaru, charging at Naruto. While Naruto was doing this, it was a different kind of battle for his mother. Her and the 2nd Hokage were doing something unheard of. They were using the water in the air to ride and battle each other. Kushina held her sword, while the 2nd held an ice sword. When they clashed, they lose the ability to slid in the air. They broke apart and began to battle over the area. "Water style. Water bullet," yelled Kushina as she fired off a large amount of water bullets. The 2nd dodged them and was to close for comfort. "Water style. Water drill jutsu," yelled the 2nd. Kushina was hit with the attack, but instead of the normal 1 drill, it was at least 5. Kushina blocked all her major organs as they hit her. The attack ripped thought her right pant leg, most of the upper body, but it was still clung to her as the most you could she was the top of her breasts. Kushina was still bleeding from her forehead and a bit from her stomach and arms. She charged at the second with the intent to do damage. With Haruno. Haruno sat in front of a young girl that was captured. She was no older than Sakura. Haruno bent down and started to unbutton her shirt. The girl screamed, but the men held her tight. "You remind me of my daughter. She was my pet and I could do whatever I wanted. The same is true here. If you're nice I'll make sure you live as my pet," said Haruno. The girl had tears leaking from her eyes and closed them as Haruno started to twist her nipples. Haruno got no further as a fist impacted her face. Haruno looked up and saw Sakura there with a woman who she didn't recognize. "Capture them both. I'll break them so bad all they'll know is my loving touch," said Haruno with a sick lust in her eyes. Sakura wasted no time and started a chain of hand signs. "Wind-style cutting wind jutsu," said Sakura as she cut up two of the assailants. The third wanted to run away, but found blood coming from his insides. "Blood puppet jutsu complete. Now crush," yelled Rin as she killed him without a second thought. Haruno got scared. She knew how to fight with a set of blade, but she didn't have one on her at the moment. "See. Come on Sakura. It's me your mother. The woman who raised you," said Haruno trying to get out of death. Sakura smiled before she punched Haruno in the gut. "You raised me alright. You raised me to be a fuck toy," yelled Sakura before she kicked her mother in the gut sending her sailing. Haruno thought she could roll, but was met with a knee to the gut. "Remember me bitch? I'm one victim you let your buddies on the council fuck," yelled Rin, before slapping her across the face making her land on the ground. Haruno had blood coming from her mouth. Haruno knew that she was running out of options. "Why? You don't understand. They said they would rape me if I didn't do what they said." "Sakura, I only did what I did to protect you and sweet little Rin." "I'm sorry for what happened to you," said Haruno hoping they bought it. Rin picked Haruno up and cut her across the face with a knife. "Bullshit. I remember seeing that sick gleam in your eyes. Those men were your toys, they did every vile thing you said." "You don't think I remember? I was raped for nearly a week straight. I had no idea what was happening to Naruto. I didn't know if I was carrying a child of one of those pigs, and I didn't even know if I was going to live. I've waited too long to let you get away Haruno," said Rin. Haruno kicked her in the gut and stood up and readjusted her kimono. "So what? Yes. I fucked you like the cheat little whore you were, Rin. I also had a wild time with that Anbu bitch Yugo. I also fucked Ayame's mother Rajiko. She was a real good fuck. I made Sakura watch and eat all three of you out. She cried so much, but she knew that I would play with her if she didn't have fun with you three. I only ever wanted to have power and Namikaze's child, but since that bitch Kushina took that from me I only had his son. Go ahead and kill me, because you'll never get back the last thing that made you surely pure. Your virginity," said Haruno with a smirk. Sakura snapped as she pulled out her pistol and emptied a clip into Haruno, before running up and punching her in the face. Rin wanted to do the same, but she tried to pull Sakura off. She knew that if Sakura killed her Haruno would win. Sakura knocked Rin off and continued the beating. Sakura raised her fist and held it there. Sakura breathed heavy for a second before standing up. "As much as I hate you, as much I want to kill you, as much as I want to make you suffer for all the things you did to me over the years I can't. You're my mother," said Sakura. "Thank you," said Haruno as Sakura pulled out a fresh clip and gave it to Rin. "I can't kill you, but Rin can," said Sakura. "I'm aiming right for her twisted and black heart," said Rin as she pulled the trigger. The bullet hit and Haruno screamed. With Zabuza, Shizune, Asuma, and Kakashi all appeared around the hospital and found a few traitors about to guarding the outside. That meant that somebody was inside. "Water style. Waterfall jutsu," said Zabuza and Kakashi as they used water from the fountains to kill the traitors. They quickly ran inside and up the stairs and found many dead, mostly sound and sand, but a few leaf nins. Asuma looked around and nearly paled. He was looking at the birthing ward. "Everyone, we have to go to the birthing ward," said Asuma. Realizing what he meant, they quickly ran into the ward and split up. Zabuza quickly checked the rooms and found most of them empty. He ran into a few ninja, but quickly cut them down. He came to the last room on the ward and heard a woman scream. He rushed in and found a sound ninja standing over her and a baby boy in her arms. Zabuza didn't want blood to hit the child, so he ran up and punched the ninja in the gut before dragging him into the hall and breaking his neck. Zabuza walked back into the room. "Are you in your alright, miss?" asked Zabuza. The woman nodded as Zabuza called on a Hellsing member. "Guard them both with your life," said Zabuza, walking out. Back in the barrier, Jiraiya and Kabuto both held a kunai in their hands and were performing a deadly dance. Jiraiya had age and skill on Kabuto, but Kabuto made up for it with the stamina of youth. Kabuto jumped back and activated the seal on his neck, and then removed his glasses. His eyes turned red, and markings started to appear on his body. Jiraiya instantly knew that he was about to be hurt. Kabuto charged with speed he didn't have a second ago and formally planted a fist in Jiraiya's gut. Jiraiya grabbed Kabuto by his collar and head-butted him, before kneeing him in his gut. Kabuto held firm and hit Jiraiya in the face. "Fire style. Fireball jutsu," said Jiraiya, launching a massive fireball at Kabuto. Kabuto jumped back and rolled to the side. He stood, drew two kunai and threw them. Jiraiya knocked them away and stared at Kabuto. Sarutobi and the first Hokage were trading blows like nobody's business. The blows were so strong that you could feel the waves ripple in the air. Sarutobi countered a punch with his own and kicked the first Hokage in the face, sending him into the ground. "I taught you well, Sarutobi," said the first, standing up. He charged at Sarutobi with a hook ready. "Sensei, you can spec?" asked Sarutobi, ducking under a punch and uppercutting him. "This body may not be mine, but the mind is still strong." "Sarutobi, you must right the world in our battle or the village, our dream will fall," said the first. Sarutobi stared at his sensei. "I'll protect your dream even if I have to kill you, sensei," said Sarutobi, summoning a staff from his arm as the first made a staff of his own. Naruto and Orochimaru held each other and twisted around each other, trying to break the lock that they held each other in. Naruto began to pissed, and even with level 4 activated he was still only holding the Sannin. Naruto jumped back and started to tap into Alucard's power. "I'm tired of this game, Snake. With 20% of Alucard's power I'm already as strong as my mother, but I'm putting a snake down for good." Releasing control restrictions to level 3, said Naruto as the boost became a mixture of black and blue. Orochimaru didn't even see the fist that hit him in his face. He went sailing towards the shield. Yukon seeing this lower the power a bit, so Orochimaru went through it. Naruto followed after Orochimaru. Orochimaru turned in the air and started a sword battle with Naruto. Orochimaru and Naruto pushed each other back until they landed on the roof of a building. Orochimaru went thought a long chain of hand signs. "Earth style. Earthly vortex jutsu," said Orochimaru as a small hole opened up and stopped Naruto. Orochimaru ran up and cut Naruto across the neck, only for him to go up in smoke. Naruto appeared above Orochimaru and smashed his fist into his face. Orochimaru, despite the pain, grabbed Naruto by the jacket and slammed him into the ground. Orochimaru then jumped into the air and let out a great breakthrough that hit Naruto hard. Multiple cuts appeared on Naruto's body, but Naruto held back a yell of pain. Orochimaru then came down hard on Naruto's gut. Naruto let out a yell that was like music to Orochimaru's ears. Orochimaru then reached into Naruto's jacket and pulled out Jackal, before aiming it at Naruto's head. "I don't know what you are, boy, but this body would be perfect for me, but your will is too strong. No matter. I'll just kill you and take a sample of blood. I'll also turn all your little wives into my pets," said Orochimaru with a grin as he pulled the trigger. Time slowed down for Naruto as Alucard appeared before him. "Naruto, listen and listen good, as this I can only do this for a few minutes. You need to stop holding back. Unleash the power you did before," said Alucard. "I can't," said Naruto, and Alucard glared at him. "You are the heir to two of the most powerful beings to ever walk the earth, so open up your mind and unleash hell," said Alucard, disappearing. The world speed up, but Naruto caught the bullet in his hand and shoved it down Orochimaru's throat. "I'm not dead yet," said Naruto, punching Orochimaru in the gut before grabbing his arm. Naruto ripped off Orochimaru's arm, making him scream out in pain. Naruto then kicked him in the face so hard that he sent him into the dirt. Orochimaru grabbed his arm and tried to run, but a well-placed bullet stopped him. Orochimaru got up and summoned a large snake. Naruto smirked as two shadow panthers appeared. Unlike his summoned panthers, these were by far a lot more dangerous as they responded to his will. They were both at least 15 feet in length and were bulky. Their black hair was streamlined and gave them a domestic look. Their eyes were the same color as Naruto's, but they held a ferial look about them. Many people stopped to look at the obviously dangerous animals as they slowly walked away from Naruto and to the snake. Naruto raised his hand and they shot off. They both charged at the snake and ripped it to pieces, not even giving it a chance to return to the summon plane. A dark shadow appeared behind Naruto as well as an eerie blue glow. Orochimaru back up as all you could see was Naruto's left eye, and it was a powerful blue that make Orochimaru want to die. "What are you? I cut you, I hit you, you bleed, but won't die," yelled Orochimaru. "I'm a being that should have died centuries ago. I'm a part of an ancient race that has no place in the new world. I'm a creature right out of hell. I'm Naruto Uzumaki Hellsing, heir to both Dracula and Integra Winget's Hellsing. Most importantly, I'm the one who will send you into oblivion." "That's right, no heaven, no hell, just nothingness," said Naruto as he pulled the trigger. Just as the bullet was about to hit him, a root member jumped in the way as another two picked him up and ran away. Orochimaru. "Sama, the plan's gone astray. Danzo. Sama has had another squad retrieve Haruno. Sama. The other forces await your order of retreat," said Ine. "Understood. Even though we failed, we still crippled the Leaf's power," said Orochimaru, laughing. "With the others." Kabuto felt the mental backlash of his cursed seal going off and left with the 4 barrier members, leaving the first and second to fight his battle. The first and second prepared for battle. "This isn't good. I think that they can kill us," said Kushina as she was breathing heavy from her bout with the second. "I always wanted a crack at the first Hokages," came a voice from the sky. Everyone looked up to see a man standing on the top of a large antane. He looked like Naruto, but without the whiskers. He also had on a Jonin outfit along with a long white jacket with short sleeves. Kushina started to tear up just by looking at him. She wiped them away and looked at him. "It's been a long time, Minato," said Kushina. "Brat? You dumbass, I thought you died," said Jiraiya. "Minato, I may be overjoyed right now, but I'm kicking your ass after we get done here," said Sarutobi as Minato smirked. "Fair enough," said Minato as he appeared behind the 2 former Hokages and took away the seals. Being a seal master, he was able to take away the seals quite easily from the 2 men. "That was easy," said Minato, only to be glared at by 3 people. He then started to rub his head like Naruto did. "I got some explaining to do, huh?" asked Minato. At their nod, he sighed. "With Gaara." Gaara held his sensei by the throat. "This is going far enough. All sand ninja retreat. The sound have abandoned us," yelled Gaara as every ninja left the area. An Anbu unit surrounded him and his 2 siblings. "Halt," said Anko, jumping in front of them. "It's all right. I'm the current commander of the sand forces and we surrender," said Gaara, taking off his gourd. Temari dropped her fan and Kunkoro dropped his puppet. All 3 were cuffed and taken to the Konoha jail. With Naruto. Naruto stood in the center of town with his pistols crossed over his chest, and he had a look in his eyes that made Mei question what he was thinking. He was happy at the moment. He could feel that all his mates were alive and well. So were his friends. Naruto fell to his knees and his guns clattered to the ground as he let out tears of joy and relief. Many Leaf Nins who were around him smiled as they understood what he felt. They knew that he was probably the only thing that had helped them live through this. A bold Jonin pumped his fist in the air. "Hail Naruto, the defeater of Orochimaru!" he yelled out. Many shared his statement and cheered for Naruto. "Thank you," thought Naruto as he passed out. In a cave somewhere. 9 figures stood in a cave. All appeared to be shimmers. A man with rings in his sliver eyes spoke. "The containers are weakened, we can fulfill our goals now," he said. "High leader. Sama," the other 8 said together. In the chambers of council. Minato, Sarutobi, Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Kushina were in front of the civilian council members, each of whom had an Anbu member waiting to kill them behind them. Kushina was giving them all the finger. They all realized they were going to die, and that their successors, including Ichiruka, the new civilian council head, and his friends Takashi and Talho, were looking on. All that could be said was, "Why?" By Sume. A plump man scowled at her. The other council members nodded as the former council member uttered, "Why?" "I'll tell you why, bitch. We run the village. Orochimaru offered us power and money that you bastards held out on us. We know that it would only be a matter of time before you killed us." Kushina raised her hand and let it fall. "If you had stopped being so damn arrogant and helped the village instead of yourselves, you wouldn't be here right now," she said. They were swiftly killed by all the Anbu. Heishi sighed. "Now that that bloody mess is handled, we need to talk about our forces," stated Heishi. "I agree. 30% were traitors, 5% was killed, and another 15% was heavily injured. Other than that, we're alright," Nara responded. Sarutobi, believing he would only see his old friend in the afterlife, said, "That's all well and good, but how are you alive right now, Minato?" Minato gave his head a scratch. "This is a bit complicated. You see, the seal that was on Naruto was designed to hold the Kyuubi at bay. The contract was that as long as Kyuubi was held at bay, I would be trapped in the Death God, even after the jailer was dead. However, something happened a few mows ago. We both felt the connection to Kyuubi vanish. You see, while the seal relayed on well to hold back most of the power, it was still powered by my soul and the Death God's power. We felt another presence take Kyuubi's place. After that, I realized that the contract was broken and I could go. The Death God was reluctant at first, but understood that it was only fair. However, we came to a little snag in our plan," Minato replied. Kushina inquired, "What was the snag?" As Kushina grabbed and kissed Minato, he said, "I didn't have a body. Now I'm not sure how, but he was able to whip up a body that would last for a long time unless I died again." Kushina said, "Who cares about that? I'm just glad you're back," as Jiraiya began jotting down notes in his notepad. "Here's another snag. I can't use that jutsu again. No do-overs, no repeat, no second chances. The next time I douse it, I will be nothing, not even a soul in his gut," Minato said. A voice called out from the shadows said, "No shit, human. You went and played in the God's realm. I'm surprised that you're still alive." Turning around, everyone saw two people come out of them. Alucard was one and Yoko was the other. As Kyuubi approached Alucard and gave him a hard slap across the face, the latter gave him a scowl. Minato struck the floor, gazing at her. "It was for abandoning me in the damn sea for almost 14 years, Yoko remarked, kicking Minato to the ground. Yoko said, "That was for killing yourself," as Alucard took Minato by the collar. Alucard gave Minato a hard headbutt. "And this is for leaving my descendant with such foolish villagers," he said. Minato's nose started to bleed so much that his head rolled back and he almost passed out. Staring at Yoko, Minato said, "Okay. I get it. I was an ass of a father for doing that to my son, but it's as much your fault as it is mine." Yoko crossed her arms and said, "I know that, but Naruto forgave me." "The question is, will he forgive you?" Minato averted her gaze. "I don't know, but I'll do everything in my power to get his acceptance," Minato replied. Yoko gave him a sly smile. Yoko said, "Good luck, father." In law, and she left, Alucard trailing behind her like a ghost. Minato was stunned. "It's been a long time," Minato admitted. After 2 days, in the hospital. Just as Sakura, Yoko, Sarah's, Kimimaro, and Runa entered, Naruto opened his eyes. Growling, Naruto sat up in bed and grabbed his head. Even though he knew that using so much power would be painful, he continued to use it. He would smack himself if he ever used that much power again. "What have I missed?" Naruto questioned, surveying everyone. "Well, Love Hellsing is now starting missions and you are to report to the Hokage's office within the next hour along with Shikamaru Nara, Sakura Hellsing, Shino Aburame, and Neji Hyuga," Sarah said while kissing Naruto. Naruto asked, glancing at Kimimaro, "Tell me, is that bastard Orochimaru dead?" "Sadly, no. If you're wondering why I'm here, I along with 3 other runners from Sound are ninja on probation here in the Leaf. We are ordered to report to the Hokage every week for the next 3 months. However, I need you to remove this curse seal on my neck, Anko." "Senpei's neck, and to Yuya's neck," Kimimaro replied. Naruto glanced at the seal on his chest and said, "It's not that simple. I need time to research each of your curse seals." Reached Hellsing. "Sama," Kimimaro uttered. Sakura caught Naruto's eye as he noticed that she had the Hellsing coat of arms on her left breast and was wearing an open black vest over her regular attire with a jacket on top. Runa had on a black vest as well. Naruto said, "I see you're both members of Hellsing," as Sakura and Runa bowed. "Commander Hellsing, I apologize," Sakura and Runa said. As he stood up, Naruto realized he had no clothes on. "Calm down, I'm still Naruto to you two girls. Anyway, might as well go see what mother wants," he said. Due to blood loss, Runa, Yoko, and Sarah's all passed out. Sakura threw him a scroll and opened it, and Naruto laughed. He called up his long red jacket, his blue muscle shirt, and his black pants. After tugging them on, Naruto went to a cabinet and took out a holster that contained his sword and all three of his guns. He then put the holster on and holstered all of his weapons. Naruto remarked, "I'm not looking forward to this meeting with the fourth Hokage," as he unlocked a portal and snatched the girls. After an hour, in the Hokage's office, every individual listed was in front of the Hokage. A hard look filled her eyes. Many swallowed at the sight of her. Rumors circulated throughout Konoha, claiming Kushina possessed the same strength and speed as the second Hokage. She even caused fear in the teachers. To her left was Minato, to her right was Tsunade, and to her far left was Sarutobi. Alright, here's the layout. You're all relatively powerful and are worthy of Chunin, however Sakura, you have been drafted into the medical program, as has Hinata Hyuga. Shino, Neji, and Shikamaru, you are all being promoted to Chunin. Naruto, given the things you did, you were being jumped to Special Jonin as well as head of the Hellsing organization, with Tsunade as the go-between and official for myself, said Kushina as they all received vests. Naruto had white shoulders and a black vest. After taking off his coat, he put it back on and took out his shades. Naruto winked and smirked at Sarah's. "I make this look good," he said. "Yes, you do," Sarah's thought, her lips licking. "Anyway Naruto, we already have a mission for you. You were to lead a 5-man team on an A-rank mission. You can choose the last of your team, but Kakashi must come with you," said Minato with a sigh. It was not what he wanted to do to hand over such a high-level mission to a rookie right out of the boat. "What's the mission, Hokage? Sama?" inquired Naruto, who was already attempting to devise the best strategy. Trying not to embarrass his son in any way, Minato said, "You are to protect actress Yukie, star of the Seven Colors movie, from harm as they shoot in the land of snow." "I see. I'll take Haku, Zabuza, Runa. I need these three." With Zabuza's skill with a blade made him a good fighter to have on any mission that has a chance of combat, as well as his expertise in chilled climates. It would be good to have him. Haku is an ice wielder, so she is ideal for this mission, and Runa is a poison master. "With her we can identify any poison and protect Yukie that much better," said Naruto as Kushina and Minato nodded. Kushina said, "You have a meeting with your client tomorrow at noon." Staring at Naruto, Minato said, "Naruto, I would like to have a word with you." Naruto merely regarded him blankly. As they stepped outside and onto the roof, Naruto said, "Okay, there's something I want to get off my chest since the moment I saw you." Minato surveyed the town. "You, my boy, have grown, but it's still the same," Minato remarked. Naruto displayed his teeth. "Save it. I don't want to hear about the greater good. You fucked me over, Minato. San basically left me for dead in this village. Only the elders and shinobi protected me, and even then there were those who wanted my guts all over the pavement." "You're no father of mine," Naruto replied. Minato smiled sadly at Naruto. Minato said, "You're right. I am no father, and I don't expect you to forgive me that easily either. But for what it's worth, I'm sorry," as Naruto started to leave. Naruto said, "At least you got that much right. You are sorry." A sorry excuse of a father and a cage, before sending Minato to watch the village while shedding a tear. The office of Naruto. In the Hellsing organization's main office, Naruto took a seat in a chair. A sizable warehouse was acquired by Naruto, who had it transformed into a base. His workspace was uncomplicated. It included a few chairs, a desk, and other necessities for a base. One of the many commanders who reported to him was seated in a chair in front of him. Rin appeared prepared to spit him out. "My medic skills rival Tsunade Sama's, so why didn't you ask me to be on that mission?" Rin questioned, clearly worried about what would happen to Naruto on this A-ranked mission. "Rin, they need you now." We might be in danger if I didn't weigh my options carefully. I had time to review Hellsing's members prior to my meeting. Naruto nodded as Rin nodded. I'm going to tell you this once, Rin. We are not the Anbu, we go in and do our job the best we can, failure or not. After a brief period of silent sitting, Naruto stood up and left. Rin was about to follow him when she noticed a stack of paperwork on the desk, at which point she became enraged and yelled. Naruto. Standing up, Rin cried out. In partnership with Naruto. Naruto was grinning, knowing that Rin would never have to do the paperwork himself. He stopped when he felt the ground tremble, and he jumped up as a sorrowful-looking woman on a horse went by. Her hair was blue and fell loosely behind her, and she was wearing a black shirt with blue jeans and a long purple jacket. Naruto landed in the room next to his teammates, all of whom had black vests on except for Kakashi, who had his over a white shirt. Kakashi, that's her, Naruto uttered. Indeed. Moreover, it appears that she is being pursued, Kakashi remarked. They all turned to see a cluster of men in full black samurai armor trailing her. Before the mission had even begun, Naruto was already on his way to save the girl. Use your best poison to paralyze them, Runa. Haku, Zabuza, and Kakashi interrogate them. I'm pursuing Yukie, declared Naruto as he shot off. Well, why wasn't he interested in spending time with us? As the horseman halted and engaged the client in conversation, Runa questioned in a light-hearted manner. Haku remarked, well, this can't be too good, as they approached. Alongside Yukie. After giving up on the horse, Yukie went into a bar and sat down next to a man with red and blonde hair. Hey, could I get a drink? With a hint of rudeness, she inquired. To it over. The man seated beside her remarked, this village needs a little kick. As Yukie received her double, she said, thank you, but I only need the single. The man said, you smell sweet, as she almost choked on her sake. Are you feeling under the weather already? Do you know? Yukie inquired. Sorry, I didn't mean it like that, the man said, laughing. I meant to say that you smell like a rare kind of flower that grows only in the most breathtaking snow country, that is, like a rare flower. What's your name, stranger? I haven't heard anyone talk like that in forever, Yukie asked, blushing the entire time and lowering her head a little. Do you know? Yukie inquired. Hello, my name is Naruto Uzumaki Hellsing, the man said with a toothy grin before raising his shades to reveal his purple eyes. Your personal protector for the journey to snow, Naruto scowled at her. When Yukie realized she had been set up, she leapt to her feet and started to flee, but Naruto suddenly materialized behind her, tapping her neck, causing her to momentarily lose consciousness before falling backward and being picked up by Naruto in a bridal style. It seems all sorts of women fall for me, Naruto mused to himself as he left the bar, stifling a small laugh. After a few hours, Yukie woke up in a nice room with a bed, and Naruto sitting in a nearby chair, though it was hard to tell if he was sleeping or not because of the glasses. She sat up when the door opened and a man wearing glasses and brown hair in a ponytail, Yukie's manager, Nadare Ruga, entered the room. Would you kindly give me some water, Nadara? We seem to be swaying, and my head is killing me. Nadara handed the water to Yukie. Naruto removed his shades and said, you're quite correct, Yukie. San. We are swaying. We're on our way to the land of snow. And I've been awake for about the last 2 hours. When Yukie leapt from the bed and dashed out the door, she discovered that movie props were being set up. She let out a terrified cry as Naruto left. The director came over and gave her a quick pat on the head. He didn't seem to mind that she was glaring at him. He approached Naruto, gave him a quick glance, and then nodded. The director said, we could use you for this movie. What? Exclaimed Yukie and Naruto, glancing at the director as the other team members giggled. It's true. We've been looking for someone to act the part of a drifter who joins the group in the 4th movie, but we scrapped it as no one was good enough, but you have what it takes. Go get into costume. Both of you, said the filmmaker. Naruto protested, hold your horses, old man. I'm not an actor. I'm Yukie's bodyguard, not one of your actors, as the director started shoving him toward wardrobe. The director said, this way you can protect her better. He makes a valid point, scowled Haku at the man for squandering her Naruto. Kun time. Naruto protested, fine, but I do this under protest, as they hauled him off to change. After 30 minutes. Naruto was dressed as a wanderer, and Yukie was dressed as Princess Gale. His hair was straightened after being taken out of its typical style. He was dressed in a straw hat, white pants with a black tiger on the left leg, and a blue Chinese shirt that hung down to his knees and had no sleeves. He was holding a pike. The pike's blade measured a good 2 feet in length, while its staff measured 4 feet. "I feel like a dumb ass," Yukie said to Naruto as she gave him a blank stare. Yukie told the child, "You get used to it, kid," as they entered the set. "This will be good," Zabuza smirked, gesturing to a furious Naruto. "I sign your checks, Za." "Bu." "Za," Naruto uttered, hastily ducking behind Runa and Haku, who were both laughing. A man lay down, feigning death from multiple stab wounds and a sword in his abdomen. With a few staged tears in her eyes, Yukie stood over him. The director said, "Silence on the set. Lights, camera, action." The man portraying Sun said, "Princess Gale, I'm sorry that I won't be able to accompany you to the rainbow." Naruto was aware that Yukie appeared to be about to cry. "No. Sun, please stay with me, please. You're one of the only people I have left in this world." Yukie screamed. Naruto's line to enter was that. Naruto uttered the words, "You might as well let him die. Even if he survived, he's not long for this world, Gale," as the camera descended upon Yukie and him. His acting prowess amazed both Haku and Runa. Later, they'd have to put them to the test. They blushed deeply as they considered all of this. Yukie's eyes went narrower. With hatred, she exclaimed, "Who are you?" With a smile, Naruto moved forward. Naruto answered, "You can call me Zane. I'm a drifter." The performance of Naruto left many in disbelief. "Zane, I don't know who you are, but I ask you to coughs up blood to protect Princess Gale, where I could not," Sun said as he passed away. Naruto looked at the man, said, "I give you my word," then closed his eyes, took the sword out of his stomach, placed it on his chest, and covered it with his hands. Yukie cried out to the world, "Why? Why did my best friend have to die for a destiny that I didn't even want?" After giving her a long, hard look, Naruto grabbed her by the shirt collar. Naruto dropped her as they left the set, saying, "That's just how the world is sometimes. Get used to it, Gale. I did a long time ago." The director exclaimed, "Cut. That was beautiful. My boy, you were born to be an actor." Naruto examined the pike he was holding. "Give him a hug." "Whoa, Naruto. Kun, that was amazing," Runa exclaimed. Naruto replied, "No, it wasn't. That was just me being myself," as he made his way to his cabin and lay down. Yukie was following suit, but her attention was focused on what Naruto had said. She could tell he wasn't acting by the way he said it. Similar to how she reacted when he predicted his death. The following morning, Naruto was startled awake by the sound of a dun bass shouting, "Land ho!" He got up, took off his jacket, and went outside where he noticed a big iceberg in front of them. They decided to set up a scene here. Naruto got dressed, showed up with the others, and was prepared to fight, but he covered up his fighting clothes. For the movie battle, they all took their positions and got ready. "Princess Gale, welcome to your death." The man laughed and said, "I'll send you to meet your beloved servant Sun soon." "You idiot!" cried a second man, Shaw. "Slow down. You'll only end up a corpse if you allow your emotions to get in the way," Naruto remarked. "Zane, stop talking. You could be here, but you are not Sun's replacement." An additional man called Zu spoke. "Pay attention to me. Even though I don't know you as well as Sun does, I promise to always have Gale's back." Naruto declared, "I never break my word, even if it means destroying myself. I always have my pike ready for battle." Wonderful words for such a foe, the man said before an explosion took place. Scanning the area, they saw 3 shinobi wearing the headband for the hidden snow village in strange armor, the tall leader, easily Kakashi's height. The pig-shaped man with the large metal left arm. And the last one, with short pink hair, standing on what appeared to be the tips of the iceberg. The man, mockingly bowing, said, "It is with great pleasure that I welcome back Princess Koyuki to her rightful home in the land of snow." "Handayu." With a glare, Kakashi yelled. "Hitaki. San, are you aware of that Fruit Loop?" As Naruto took off his acting clothes, Zabuza questioned. Hell, get to know him. During my previous visit here during the rebellion, I was almost killed by that guy and his two friends. That bastard killed one of my squad's members, declared Kakashi as he got ready to wield the Sharingan. Sandayu said, I'm glad you remember me, Kakashi. I'll take the big guy, Kakashi take that bastard out, and Zabuza handle the girl. Runa guard Yukie while Haku gets everyone back aboard the ship. Get up! Cried Naruto. They raced out and got ready to fight. In partnership with Naruto. Upon seeing the big man, Naruto glared at him, clearly disgusted, and instead of letting go of his own power, he took a small amount of Alucards and charged at him, drawing his sword fast. The man stopped the blade with his hand, trying to break it, but it was too strong. Naruto delivered a forceful kick to the man's face that broke his jaw. Naruto blocked the man's massive punch, but as he did, he felt a knife in his shoulder, inches from his heart. Naruto fell to the ground, glaring at the man before collapsing. The man took a snowboard off his back and charged towards Yukie, who was frozen in place. As Runa got ready to defend her, he pulled out 3 poison-coated throwing knives and threw them at Mizor, who threw them off like they were nothing. Before he could get up in Runa's face and punch her with great force, Naruto suddenly materialized, his eyes dark red, stopping the man's metal hand and crushing the blade in his chest. You are hurt, bastard. The only difference was that the man was matching Naruto's demonic power. Allow me to repay the favor, said Naruto as they began a game of mercy. In collaboration with Zabuza. In an attempt to save time, Zabuza began to make some significant hand gestures. Water style. Great water ball jutsu, he said. Fubuki leapt out of the way and the water ball missed its mark, landing with a graceful cat-like gait before lunging toward Zabuza. Zabuza brought down his sword, but Fubuki stopped it with a single movement of her right hand, then kicked him in the gut, sending him flying back. Zabuza stopped himself, glaring at her, then created a couple of water clones. Keep her back for a short while. Zabuza began a series of hand signals, I'm ending this fight now. Without showing any signs of concern, Fubuki let the clones charge, and in less than a minute, Zabuza had all the time he needed. As the mist began to form, Zabuza said, water style, underworld mist jutsu, but rather than saying, don't get too confident while it was pitch black, chakra usage is difficult because of this jutsu, Zabuza stated. It doesn't matter, Fubuki grinned. You mist boy, we snow ninja are just too strong for you, Fubuki remarked. In partnership with Kakashi. When they battled, both Sandayu and Kakashi held kunai in their hands. Although Kakashi was a little younger than Sandayu when they first met, he wasn't the same naive brat this time. A kick was aimed at Kakashi's ribs, but Kakashi blocked it with his arm and punched out, and Sandayu jumped back and they both began making hand signals. Ice style. Ice Dragon Jutsu, declared Sandayu as an enormous ice-based dragon materialized out of thin air. Kakashi declared, Water style, Water Dragon Jutsu, as another dragon materialized. Kakashi glared at him as the two dragons collided and destroyed each other, expecting his dragon to defeat Sandayu's. What was going on? In partnership with Naruto. Before he could launch Mizor back, Naruto gave his arms a little more power. Fall back. As he pulled Yukie into his arms, Naruto yelled, Kakashi, cover us. As Kakashi already materialized next to him, albeit with hand signals, Naruto yelled. Tsunami Jutsu. Giga style in water. A huge wave came out of nowhere and destroyed the island, cried Kakashi. After the wave subsided and they were back aboard the ship, they saw a little balloon take off. Naruto said, Kakashi, please tell me who those 3 were wearing. Snow was involved in a sort of rebellion against the elderly samurai, but those 3 were some of the best damn jonin that Snow ever had. That was the aim of my mission. As Haku approached, Kakashi remarked, I was sent to help the shinobi, but later realized that it was a trap to overthrow the royal family, so I switched sides. Now, it won't matter. There is an issue with this. We're going to battle foreign shinobi on their territory, Haku declared. Haku-chan, you are incorrect. I requested your presence on this mission for this reason. You have a natural advantage over them because of your bloodline. You guys better get ready for a fight. Naruto looked out over the sea and said, this mission just got a hell of a lot harder. On the ship. A table was surrounded by many people. Nader Ruga, the Konoha Nins, and the director. Naruto, perched on the wall, exclaimed, "Someone better explain what the hell is going on before I lose my temper." I might be able to explain. You see, Nadare Ruga isn't my real name. My real name is Sandayu Asama. The man you meet was the real Nadare Ragua. I was once the advisor to the royal family as well as their strongest retainer, both in political matters and with a sword. The person who started the rebellion was Koyuki's uncle Dato, said Sandaya, causing Yukie to drop his head and broaden. Acting like a child, Runa asked, "What is it, Zabuza?" "Chan?" "Doto the Black Ice. A known master of Black Ice Jutsu. Rumor has it he has stood toe-to-toe with a former member of the SSS, but I can't say for sure who it was," stated Zabuza. "The rebellion happened so fast that we were barely able to help Koyuki get away. With the help of Kakashi and his Anbu team, most of our samurai were able to escape without harm. It was later that Ruga took my name and became more of a hitman than an advisor. I've hated how my name has been used for evil deeds these last 13 years, Sandayu said while bowing to Naruto. I implore you to assist Koyuki in regaining her throne. Sandayu. San, stop worrying about it. Sandayu bowed and began to cry, and Naruto promised her that she would return to her throne. Sandayu said, "Thank you, Naruto." Dono, as Naruto departed the room. Alongside Yukie. Yukie, looking out the window, felt someone close to her as she lay in her bed, tears in her eyes as she forced herself to stay awake, a habit she had developed long ago when her memories became too much to bear. You are free to emerge from the shadows. As Naruto emerged from the shadows and stood in front of the bed, Yukie remarked, "I know you're standing there. You have some pretty skills, Yukie." Chan, Naruto remarked as Yukie averted her gaze. As Naruto sat down on her bed, Yukie remarked, "You don't be an actress for so long and not run into people who want you dead. You shouldn't let the past hurt you so much, Yukie." Chan, Naruto patted her head. Yukie was doing a bad job of holding back her tears until Naruto pulled her into an embrace. Let go of all the pain you felt in your heart, let out the tears of loneliness, just let yourself feel sadness instead of self. Hatred, Naruto concluded. Yukie was unable to contain herself and let all of her feelings come out in her wails and tears. She let her uncle's betrayal, the years of pain she had endured, and her hatred of being an actress. I detest my existence. I detest it. I never wanted my uncle to break my father's heart, I never wanted to be alone, and I never wanted to flee my nation. I had no desire for any of it. Yuki concluded with a quiet cry. As Yukie dozed off while hugging Naruto, Naruto stroked her head and remarked, "If a person can't confront their demons, then they will never know peace." After setting her down and leaving the room, Naruto discovered Sandayu sitting close to the front of the ship, smoking a cigarette, which he removed with a saber in his mouth and stabbed out with his left hand, appearing completely unfazed by the act. "Please, Naruto. Dono, assist Yukie. No matter what, make sure to keep her safe," Sandayu commanded. Because of the intense sun, Naruto pulled out his shades and put them on. "You have my word that she will be safe, even if it means my death, Sandayu." "San," he sat down to say. After a day. The crew made their way down the long cave as quickly as they could, with Yukie sitting next to Kakashi, who was reading his porn, and Haku and Runa peering out the window while Naruto and Zabuza were honed in on their blades. "Pardon me, but is this man from the cave made?" Gesturing to Sandayu, Naruto inquired. "Yes, Naruto. Dono is who he is. The trains were intended for it. It would take several hours to locate even one track, but if you dig through the ice, you can find the rails," Sandayu said. Looking perplexed, Haku said, "What's a train?" Haku questioned, glancing at Naruto. Shrugging, Naruto said, "Don't focus on me, little lady." "I'm clueless," declared Naruto. "The fact that things are frozen won't matter," Sandayu stated. With his eyes closed, Naruto prepared to fall asleep, but to his chagrin, a stagehand woke him up in the land of the living, telling him to be ready in 15 minutes. Naruto walked outside and talked with his team when someone ran out and said Yukie had run away again. Scowling, Haku said, "That ding dong." Haku began trying to track Yukie with the help of the snow, saying, "She needs to stay near us if she wants to live." Naruto advanced a short distance and said, "I'll get her. From here, I can smell her blood," Naruto uttered before disappearing into the night. In the woods. Yukie ran as fast as she could, not caring that the cold burned in her lungs or that her legs felt like jelly. Her only concern was getting away. She was moving so quickly that she stumbled and fell into the snow, where she landed and remained motionless, her face painfully expressioned. It makes sense that you became an actor. You're so skilled at being false that you don't even realize it's real, Naruto remarked as he materialized in front of her and adopted her wedding gown. I don't understand it. I confessed myself to you, Yukie said, turning away. I truly gave my heart to you. Why, then, do I still fear what lies ahead? Do you know? Yukie inquired. Because you still have no way of knowing what is to come, be it death or salvation, Naruto replied. After 20 more minutes of walking, he was nearly at the railway entrance when a small blizzard struck. He moved on a short distance until he came to a small cave, where he laid her down and built a small fire. Naruto remarked, we'll rest here until the blizzard ends and then we can, before dragging Joshua outside and pointing it in the direction of the night. Yukie got to her feet and asked, what is it, Naruto? Kun, do you know? Yukie inquired. Without responding, Naruto moved forward and, using his sight to see in the dark, saw a large man who unnerved him. He had blonde hair, glasses, a large scar on his face, and was dressed in a black coat, gray priest suit, white gloves, and a large curved blade in each hand. When he realized he was frozen solid, he lowered the gun. Alive? As he approached, Naruto thought to himself. The man was much bigger than Naruto. When he touched the ice, he jumped back because his eyes flowed open. Naruto used his left hand to summon his sword and his right hand to hold his gun. The big man broke through the ice like it was made of cheap paper. Hi there, vampire. The man snapped his neck and said, I don't know how long I've slept, but in the name of God and everything holy, I will kill you if your kind is still walking on this earth. Naruto felt his chest burning and looked down to see a scar. He knew that silver didn't hurt him like other vampires, but that still hurt like a bitch. Naruto glared at the man as he ran out, his scar still healing. The man charged and slashed at Naruto, which Naruto blocked with his katana and jumped onto the wall before jumping off and stabbing him in the chest. Ha ha ha. I can see he's still alive after all these years, Alucard remarked. Who in hell is this guy? Naruto asked, swerving away from another blade attack. He seems to know vampires pretty damn well. Levi Hamilton is his name. He was somewhat of my rival. He belonged to the Vatican in the former Roman Empire. We refer to Alexander as a regenerator. Alucard warned, take care. He heals just as quickly as you do. I appreciate you telling me. Do you have anything more to add? As Naruto stabbed the bigger man with his blade, he questioned. Indeed, beware of his white magic. You can't use your vampiric powers at all with it, Alucard said. When he realized Alexander would be up in a minute, Naruto made 2 blood clones and they quickly formed a prison seal around him. They finished just as the bullet ejected from his head and he jumped up only to be zapped as he tried to leave the triangle. Naruto dodged a slash and shot Alexander in the head, causing his head to flow back before he hit the dirt. Naruto remarked, crude, but effective, as the clones disappeared. When Alexander growled, let me out of here you hell spawn so I can finish you off, he was again fried in the process of moving. Yukie approached Naruto as he was sitting on a rock, sheathing his sword, and as she glanced over her shoulder, she saw a bloody scar on his chest. Hellsing. San, how are you doing? Do you know? Yukie inquired. Hellsing? Alexander muttered to himself. Naruto said to Yukie, I'm alright. Unlike other vampires, silver doesn't poison me, but it still affects me. Naruto pointed to the scar that was still healing and said, I never thought it was this bad though. After it healed, it was probably going to stay. Naruto scowled, created a clone, and allowed Alucard to emerge. So you're the spawn between that bastard Alucard and Integra, Alexander said. After giving him a menacing glare, Alucard punched Alexander so hard that his jaw broke, but it eventually healed before Alucard broke it again. Watch yourself, human. Even in this fictitious body, I have the strength to kill you. The young boy in question is Naruto Uzumaki Hellsing, the leader of the recently formed Hellsing organization and the heir to the Hellsing family. My friend, you and I have been apart for a very long time. Alucard remarked, my kind no longer walks the earth fading into nothingness. At least my dream of a pure world is archived, grinned Alexander. Alexander remarked, I knew the Holy Father wouldn't let that happen. Old man, don't have an orgasm just yet, Naruto smirked at him. Your text has been removed. Hell, money and our pathetic technology are all that remain of the old world. Since we are the dark, humans no longer require defenders in the shadows. Almost all people on this earth are destined for hell, declared Naruto. A lie. You truly embody the devil. Alexander cried out. Naruto got up and took out a cigar, knowing he wouldn't be hurt by it and that Alucard had a thing for them. He didn't usually blaze one himself, only for special occasions like this one. Naruto put the cigar in his mouth, took out a lighter, flicked it open, lit it, took a puff, and then pulled it out, letting the smoke swirl around in his mouth for a minute before blowing it out. Have faith that your desires are real. I'm among the most powerful people in the world right now. Though sometimes I don't feel it, Naruto remarked. If it's all true, then I no longer have a purpose, growled Alexander before putting down his blade and holding it to his throat. This gave Yukie a scared expression. What are you doing? As Yukie retreated behind Naruto, she inquired. Wounds that regenerators cause to themselves cannot be healed. He will perish when he slashes his throat, Alucard declared. That is accurate. As he prepared to pull the knife across his throat, Alexander remarked, we were designed to kill ourselves. How would you like to join Hellsing before you end it? Questioned Naruto, taking a puff from his cigar once more. Thanks for the offer, son, but I was meant to kill demons from hell and vampires, but seeing as there are no more I no longer have a purpose, Alexander smiled, something Alucard had never seen before. So that's it then, you taking the easy way out of life, my old nemesis, Alucard laughed. I've never chosen the simple route. Alucard said, I was a monster, but I still exist today. Then he was gone. Rips the blade across his throat, that bastard wouldn't understand, Alexander growled. As a warrior he felt that his work was done, but as a man he knew that his life was complete, Naruto remarked, gazing at Yukie, who had buried her face into his chest. What a sad fate, Yukie exclaimed, looking up at Naruto as he released her. He then pulled out a lighter and threw it on the body to put it out of the fire before it started. We should go, Naruto said as they started to leave, turning his head away from the fire and grabbing Yukie's hand. They started walking through the forest until they reached the cave, where Naruto huffed Yukie onto his back. Yukie objected, but Naruto ignored it, and after about 3 minutes, he finally stopped talking. They then walked through the pitch black darkness for almost 30 minutes before Yukie started talking once more. Tell me, Naruto-kun, is there anyone in Konoha waiting for you? After posing such a private query, Yukie blushed a little. After a minute of silence, Naruto said, yes. Just as Yukie was about to apologize, believing she had offended him, he spoke. Actually, it was 2 women. One of them is already taken care of my first child, Naruto remarked, feeling from Yukie and almost smiled. Like feeling. Yukie said, congrats, Naruto-kun. Yukie, there's a question I would like to ask you. Why do you switch between being a bastard, Hellsing-san, and Naruto-kun? Cheering at Yukie, Naruto asked. I had a bad habit when I was a small child. I started doing it out of habit because I used to spend a lot of time around the employees, servants, and their children, Yukie remarked, to which Naruto chuckled. Do you consider that to be a bad habit? I used to use shit bombs regularly, Naruto remarked, causing them to both giggle. Hey, tell me, do you believe I possess the necessary skills to become a ninja? Do you know? Yukie inquired. To be honest, you already are, Naruto remarked. What? With his back to him, Yukie questioned. You possess a single heart. In addition, you possess a respectable quantity of chakra for a civilian and some stealth abilities. Genin, almost high, Naruto uttered. Yukie said, glad to know, closing her eyes as they strolled along in a soothing silence. Naruto and Yukie turned to see a big train approaching them, and soon afterward, Naruto noticed that chakra was starting to melt the ice and the rails were free. *T. As he started to sprint as quickly as he could, Naruto yelled. Naruto, leave me, Yukie cried as the train drew nearer. You will perish if you carry on like this. Yukie exclaimed as Naruto accelerated. Yuki, no way. I promise to keep you safe. And I will honor that pledge. As soon as his feet left the ground and he started to fly forward, Naruto exclaimed. Yukie exclaimed, what the hell? You're Ariel? Do you know? Yukie inquired. As shocked as you are, I'm not looking at you. Naruto exclaimed as soon as they saw light. When the train stopped, Naruto shot out of the tunnel and to the side, causing everyone to gasp. Dodo, looking at Naruto and pissing off the blonde, then looked at the train and a tall man, who appeared to be Dodo, with Nadara beside him and as a small group of at least 5 men. Naruto took out Joshua and pulled the trigger, hoping to kill the bastard with one shot, but one of the men noticed and took the bullet before he was pushed off. After that, a small army led by none other than Sandayu appeared prepared for battle. This is for you, Koyuki. Sama. Sandayu shouted as he charged, the others trailing behind. Dodo lifted his hand, causing the train's crates to open. Knowing that something bad was going to happen, Naruto grabbed Yukie and pressed her against his chest. Yukie tried to break free, but Naruto only made her struggle harder. When Yukie did, she was able to escape just in time to see the men fall. Many of them tried to get back up and resume the fight, but they kept getting hit. When it was obvious that Dodo had won, he stopped the attack, and he then unloaded almost 100 men onto the battlefield to clear the area. A heavy mist rolled in as they got closer, stopping many in their tracks. Naruto then called his family sword and smiled. For the next 5 minutes, everyone heard only cries of mercy or, let me live. After the fog lifted, 5 individuals were visible. Corpses had been burned, decapitated, struck with a senbon, or frozen to death. Dodo snarled as he readied himself to issue another kunai charge. After extracting Jackal, Naruto unlocked the chamber and removed a unique bullet from his pouch. The color was a deep blue. Before aiming and pulling the trigger, Naruto slipped it in. Dodo was struck by the bullet that flew true, but not in the head. It almost blew off his arm when it struck it. Grabbing his arm and glaring at a smirking Naruto, Dodo let out a yell. Naruto said, "Oops, I missed," as Dodo's men started tending to him. Dodo said, "Nadara, give the order," as he was escorted inside. "Detach and retreat, Dodo." "Sama," Nadara said, diving into the hatch and shutting it. With a sigh, Naruto holsters his weapon and turns to face Yukie, who is sobbing. As he turned to face Yukie, the big man from earlier suddenly appeared out of nowhere, grabbed Yukie, and then took hold of a blimp's letter. "Haruto." It started to move farther away, to which Yukie cried out. "Yukie." As it got farther away, Naruto yelled, leaping into the air and pulling out a rope to throw onto the ship before climbing up. Alongside Yukie in the ship. Yukie was facing her uncle, who appeared to be smiling kindly, but she sensed that the smile was phony. "It's been a while," remarked Yukie as Dodo approached her more closely. "Yes, it has a child," Dodo affirmed. "Uncle, what do you want?" As she readied her guard, Yukie inquired. Dodo grinned as a medical professional hurried to treat his arm, saying, "To the point, just like your father." After the medic left, Dodo said, "Okay, I want the family treasure, but in order to obtain it I need the key around your neck." Dodo's arm was essentially fully restored, but it was held up by a new kind of body armor. Yukie stood back up and seized her necklace, saying, "This uncle you'll never get your hands on." Dodo reached up and took hold of Yukie's arm, and she cried out. "Koyuki, I beg to differ." Before ripping it from her neck and throwing her to the ground, Dodo yelled. "Set a course for the Rainbow Valley," Dodo said, grinning. "Extreme Typhoon Dragon Jutsu water style." Heard incredibly loud voices as something struck the ship. "How absurd is that?" yelled Dodo as they were about to pass over a mountain. He saw it was the group from Konoha. "Bastards. Every troop demolishes them." Dodo yelled as his top 3 fighters and numerous men jumped the plan. Dodo took off his jacket to reveal black armor, then he picked up Yukie and smashed the window before taking off in the air, summoning a darkness fox to accompany him. Naruto quickly followed, using his darkness power to help him follow. "I'll follow you and kill you no matter what," cried Naruto. Atop the peak. "Has anyone managed to tally the number of soldiers?" did Kakashi ask, taking off his headband. "Roughly 50, Runa remarked, fiddling with her long hair. Zabuza charged the large group, while the others ran blindly toward their targets. "Alright, I'll take care of the grunts." "Kakashi, Haku, Runa, you deal with the big wigs," he said. Zabuza parried a pike thrust, kicked a man so hard his jaw broke, and used the large hilt of his sword to block another attack. Zabuza cut a great number of people as he spun around. He felt the water rushing underneath him as he leapt onto a frozen river. After making a few hand signals, Zabuza glared at the men. Zabuza exclaimed, "Water and wind style, great typhoon dragon." As a great deal of water and wind circled one another before slamming into the crowd. He immediately followed that up with a jutsu of hidden mist before taking their lives. In partnership with Haku. Mizire was Haku's choice for combat. Mizire gave the Ice Wilder a fierce look before using his entire weight and speed to hurt her. Haku removed and inserted 2 Senbon needles into his legs. Mizire came to a stop, glaring at the girl. Even though he lacked proficiency in most jutsu, he possessed immense power. He ripped the 2 needles from his leg and lunged toward her once more, albeit a little more slowly. Haku kicked him in the back of the head after jumping over him, then spun around and made one-handed gestures. Haku said, "Secret jutsu, crystal ice mirrors," as she saw almost 20 mirrors appear in front of her. Mizire cried out, "What the hell you bitch?" With a smile, Haku raised an ice sword. Haku said, "Normally I'd torture my foes, but I'm in a bit of a rush," just before she began to sever him. When the mirrors fell, all that remained of Haku's leap was a large body that had been sliced to ribbons. Alongside Runa. Runa continued to try to cut the woman with her bladed wings as she ran along the trees, dodging her. Runa did a handstand, whirled around a tree branch, and threw a few kunai. Although Fubuki deflects the attack, she is aware that the seals are coming for her. The seals exploded, sending her crashing to the ground while Runa grinned at her. She raised her guard. Runa said, "You're starting to bore me," as green chakra started to leak out of her body. Fubuki gave the girl a scowl before throwing a punch at her. Runa halted the blow, spun around, and struck her in the face with a palm strike. Runa declared, "Poison style, death palm." Fubuki started to roll on the ground and scream as though she was on fire before her body started to shrivel up and die. Runa gave her a quick glance before turning around and covering her back with her hands. Runa said, "What a boring old lady," and started to leave. In partnership with Kakashi. After their fists collided, Kakashi and Nadara leapt backward. Nadara started making hand gestures that culminated in the letter dog. Nadara exclaimed, "Ice style, frozen wolf," as he watched Kakashi prepare an attack. 15 years ago you got the better of me, but now you'll see who's left standing," cried Kakashi as he threw the wolf and struck Nadara in the chest. Then, he appeared to drag him up into the sky approximately 100 feet in a zigzag pattern. Then, 10 more feet above him, Kakashi suddenly descended and struck him in the chest. Both of them moving toward the lower ground. It looked like a lightning bolt that had just been split in half when viewed from a distance. Kakashi gave the man who had fallen painfully a fierce look as they touched down. 15 years is a long time. Kakashi exclaimed, pulling out a kunai and slitting Nadara's throat. Alongside Yukie. Dodo threw Yukie to the ground and put the key into the pedestal after they had landed in the valley. "At long last I have the power of the most powerful weapon in all of the shinobi world," Dodo chuckled. Yukie got to her feet and rushed her uncle. Dodo spun around, seized her by the neck, and raised her into the air. When Yukie noticed the straight sword fastened to his belt, she kicked it free with her feet and then spun to kick him in the chest. Dodo released him. She immediately ran to the sword and unsheathed it after hitting the ground, adopting the same stance as she did in the film. Dodo chuckled before making a move. Yukie narrowly avoided a powerful kick from him before she struck him across the chest. Dodo scowled and retreated. Koyuki was an actress rather than a warrior, which explains how skillfully she wielded a sword. Yukie rushed him and attempted to stab him before he had a chance to think. Dodo leapt backward, only to be struck in the face by a jump kick, and then Yukie struck his arm. After kicking her hard enough to knock her into the wall close to the pedestal and cause her to drop the sword, Dodo finally had enough of these games. Dodo yelled, "Ice style, Black Dragon Blizzard Jutsu," as a massive black dragon flowed toward Yukie. Yukie shut her eyes, wishing for a quick conclusion. A voice said, "Fire style, Hell's Firestorm Jutsu." When Yukie opened her eyes, she saw Naruto standing there. Naruto yelled, "Dodo, I'm here to finish the job," as Dodo charged towards him. Dodo retreated a little after Naruto deflected his first blow with his forearm and then charged him, kicking him in the stomach. Despite gasping, Naruto was able to seize Dodo's leg and force him to hit the ground. Both Dodo and Naruto leapt back and started making hand gestures. Big wind blades started to fly at Dodo, and Naruto exclaimed, "Wind style, cutting vortex jutsu." As 1,000 tiny ice balls started to fly towards Naruto, Dodo exclaimed, "Ice style, 1,000 ice bullets jutsu." While the two attacks neutralized one another, Dodo used that opportunity to charge at Naruto. When Dodo launched into a Jonin level taijutsu battle, Naruto raised his guard and leapt back. Dodo retreated and glared at Naruto because he was getting angry, but he stopped when the ice started to melt. In that instant, Naruto managed to slug Dodo halfway through the ice. Dodo exclaimed, "What is happening?" As Yukie burst out laughing. "This is my father's dream. The ultimate weapon was to bring everlasting spring to this country," Yukie replied. Dodo started to snarl. "And that's it. Double Dragon Blizzard Jutsu is the ice style." As the dragon started to rip across the ice towards Naruto and Yukie, Dodo yelled. Before inserting a special bullet, Naruto took out Jackal, grasped Yukie's hand, and positioned it between his. "Dodo. This is the last time you will have authority over this nation." The dragons were now only halfway away when Naruto yelled. "I, Yukie, ruler of Spring Country, will make sure you pay for the suffering you inflicted on the people of this land and me, uncle. I will never be able to forgive you," cried Yukie. "Die now." Dodo cried out as the dragons got closer to their targets. A massive rainbow appeared when the sun hit the large pillars. It was a sight to behold, until it fell on Yukie's and Naruto's gun. Ultimate style, Rainbow Bullet. As the dragons approached, Naruto and Yukie let out a combined cry. They then pulled the trigger, causing a power spiral to shoot out and obliterate the dragon, causing Dodo's eyes to widen in disbelief. Dodo was hit squarely in the chest by the bullet, and though he managed to hold back for a moment, the force of the attack started wearing down his armor and propelling him forward. After a minute, his armor broke, sending him hurtling through the air. Dodo let out a cry as his body started to vanish, leaving behind nothing but spring. Yukie smiled at Naruto and said, "Thank you, Naruto Kun, for everything," as Naruto laughed. Yukie stumbled and fell, but Naruto caught her. "I took no action to cause his death." Naruto said, "I made the bullet sure, but your intent gave it the power it had and the color it was," as they both raised their eyes to the sky. It would be a stunning day in the nation. Alongside the crew. That was probably the best damn moive the camera crew had ever made together, so they cheered. 1 week later. On her right side was Naruto, dressed in formal robes, along with Zabuza, Kakashi, Runa, and Haku. Yukie had just Token, the sword her father had held when he was ruler. After she stood up, she looked at her friends before the crowd started applauding and then she silenced them. "Spring people. I'm not going to lie. Once, I was so depressed that I thought I could end the world, but Naruto Uzumaki Hellsing, a good man, pulled me out of that nightmare. Thus, Naruto, if you would please step forward and bow down," Yukie said. "What is it you ask, my lady?" Yukie said, drawing out the sword as Naruto knelt before her. Naruto got up, took her hand, and kissed it, giving her a blush. "In the honor and defense of this land, I Yukie hereby dub you honorary knight of the Court of Spring," Yukie said. As Naruto declared, "The honor is all mine, Yukie," many women became envious of Yukie. Yukie said, "Please enjoy the remainder of the festivities," as people started to have fun. "Yukie, I should have asked you where you learned how to fight." While Yukie grinned, Naruto inquired. "It's easy. All of the members had to learn how to actually fight with the weapons we used before the movies started," said Yukie. "Alright, Yukie," Naruto remarked. "Oh, Naruto Kun, one more thing. Would you like to come with me to the movie prep in a month?" "Do you know?" Yukie inquired. Naruto grinned and replied, "Yes." When a blushing Yukie leaned up and gave him a full mouth kiss, just as he was about to walk away, Naruto was taken aback and then returned the kiss, which ended with a smiling Yukie and a blushing Naruto. Naruto then walked away because they had to get ready to leave early the following morning, but he promised to talk to Yukie later. "I was thinking about your offer, Hellsing," said the man Naruto saw as he was making his way to his room. "If your claims are accurate, you will require the support of as many influential people as possible," the man uttered. Naruto looked at Alexander and said, "I thought you died, Alexander." "San. A little bit of white magic on my part," smirked Alexander. Come see us tomorrow at 7 a.m. at the boot. Naruto said, "Are you getting left," and turned to leave. 2 weeks after the return of the Hellsing commander. For want of a better phrase, Naruto was furious at the moment. Alexander was given command of a small group of 4 men by him. He had dispatched them to demolish a bandit camp that was interfering with an Eagle Country village. The leader of that unit, decked out in his brand new Hellsing vest and bandana, stood in front of him. He had both of his blades concealed somewhere on his body. With a scowl, Naruto pivoted in his chair and confronted Alexander. "Explain to me, Alexander, why I have a report about 16 homes that have been destroyed, a restaurant that has been damaged, and a request to change my name to Anderson." Alexander just looked at Naruto. "The name alone makes 10 pages of paperwork, you asshole." Naruto yelled. The Vatican never failed to complete a task, Hellsing whatever the cost. "I consider the name change to be a small bonus," Alexander smirked at Naruto. The tall man was scowled at by Hellsing's deputy commander, Rin. "Alexander San, we're not the damned Vatican from where you came." Rin stood up and exclaimed, "This is going to be deducted from your pay for the next 10 missions." Alexander gave her a look. "You are a foolish woman." "I did nothing improper," exclaimed Alexander. Naruto handed him a check that he had written out. "Get the hell out of my office before I get Tsunade on your ass," said Naruto. As Naruto sighed, Alexander departed. For the next few missions, Rin was making him stay away from missions because he needed to be a family man and fulfill his command responsibilities at home. Currently, half of the Hellsing organization was on border patrol near Rice Country, 25% was on missions abroad, and the remaining 25% was focused on village defense. Naruto noticed the 10-to-1 ratio when he glanced at his watch. After getting to his feet and grabbing his jacket, Naruto moved toward the door. Rin glanced at her younger brother, Boss. Rin inquired, "Where are you going to, Naruto?" "Kun?" Naruto turned to face Rin. "At 1, I'm meeting with the Hokage." Naruto walked out the door, saying, "I also have to get Misato from the civilian academy as they get out at 1. In partnership with Misato. Misato had a book open. She had been given a lovely little book by her Ba Chan. At the end of the previous chapter, Misato grinned. She appeared to be reading something that her San had written. After closing the book and marking her page, she placed it in her bag. When she got to the front, she was met by Jacob, the bully, and his goons. After attending the ninja academy for the first 2 years, they were all weeded out. The fact that Jacob's father was a new member of the civilian council and oversaw the public school system, which kept him out of trouble, was what turned him bad. They were all in their final year here, making them 13 years old and ready to move on. Misato gave him a glare. Misato was still fairly strong, despite her dislike of fighting in her human form. Misato inquired, "What do you want, Jacob?" Jacob gave her a smile. "I want your book, Misato." "Chan," Jacob uttered. "Leave, Teme. I got it from my Ba Chan," Misato uttered, infuriating Jacob. Jacob yelled, "You brat," and raised his fist, only to have it grabbed by someone else. Alexander remarked, "Hey, now that's not polite," coming from behind him. "I concur. Already, I'm running late," remarked Naruto. "Your uncle Alexander. Too. San," uttered Misato, while Alexander gave Naruto a sly smile. "You hear that, boy?" "First billing," uttered Alexander, who received a sly grin in return from Naruto. "Do you hear the elderly man? The last person called is given preference. In any case, I'll speak with your parents afterwards. Would you mind taking her to Yoko, Alexander?" Alexander nodded, picked her up, and they both disappeared as they asked Naruto. With Tsunade, Sarutobi, Minato, and Kushina. The most influential individuals in Konoha were waiting for their final participant for a special gathering. The appearance of Naruto happened quickly. Naruto apologized, grinning broadly, "I had to pick up Misato, which is why I'm late." "Don't worry, Naruto. I recall being in your position once," Sarutobi remarked. Minato inquired, "Well, what's this meeting about, Kushina?" Placing a scroll on the table, Kushina said, "It's about this." "What is it?" Tsunade inquired. "From Orochimaru and his 2 friends, it is. They have been causing trouble lately." You might not be aware of this, Naruto, but within the boundaries of Light Country, one of your small groups was attacked. In essence, they are acting like rebels. Thus, we caused more harm than we initially believed, Kushina remarked. Sarutobi lit up his pipe and took a puff. From the information that Kin, Dosu, Tayuya, and Kimimaro gave us, it seems that Sound has a few bases in one main village somewhere, Sarutobi said. They appear to have more than that. They are unaware of the main village, only a few bases. Minato said, Kushina, I'd like to ask permission to go on a recon mission. 2. San, you're better suited for the battlefield, all things considered. Hellsing has the personnel to handle this kind of assignment, Naruto remarked, causing Kushina to turn to face him. It was a difficult choice. While Naruto was the leader of the Hellsing organization, a group nearly as dangerous as the Anbu Black Ops, Minato had more experience overall. Not to mention the hatred Naruto harbored toward Minato at the moment. Even if she had to play tricks on them, she would have to get those two to talk to each other. Minato-kun, we must decline your request. Currently, we don't need to be sending anyone on missions, especially because we don't have enough personnel, Kushina stated. Yes, ma'am, Minato replied. I know this is a hard time for us all, but we need to do what is best for the village, Tsunade replied. Naruto got up and started to walk away. Pardon me, but I have to go right now. Naruto said as he disappeared. Ayane is watching Raisin, Konohamaru, Mogi, and Udon today. Ayane's residence. Naruto approached the door and rapped on it. He knocked again and got no response. Taking out his extra key, Naruto assumed that they were either sleeping or doing something else. There was nobody there when he opened the door. Glancing around, he was beginning to lose his cool. He kept looking till he sensed a genjutsu on the walls. Drawing his calm, Naruto entered the Hokage's office using his key. Naruto began to pace, saying, Hokage. Sama, you'd better get a squad of Anbu here and call Sarah's, Alexander Anderson as he wants to be called, and Sakura here. What was happening? While Ayane had a few village friends, the majority were ninja. It appeared to be an inside job as well. It was as if no one was present, nothing was broken. The individuals mentioned arrived rather quickly. In addition to Tayuya and Kimimaro. Both had village headbands on and were dressed as Hellsings. Naruto gave them a scowl. I didn't ask for you to, Naruto remarked icily. Sorry Hellsing. Sama, but we know more about operations of this nature as we had to deal with a few of them ourselves, Kimimaro replied. Tayuya took the initiative. Besides, I'm not letting the man I love go fight alone in his condition, Tayuya replied. Naruto averted his gaze momentarily. His concern about controlling his rage. Naruto asked, Alright, can you remove this genjutsu? Tayuya nodded in agreement. After giving it a brief inspection, Tayuya pulled out her dagger and threw it against the wall using a kunai. A metallic noise erupted and then vanished, revealing a scroll. After picking it up, Tayuya gave it to Kushina, who opened it and started reading aloud. To Naruto. Kun, please. We have your little slut in the brats if you are reading this. If you want them back, you, Sakura, Kimimaro, and Tayuya need to meet the 40 sound ninja who are waiting at the edge of the fire country. You can bring 1 or 2 extra people at most to bring them back, and the people listed above should accompany the sound teams. 5 of them have it at level 2, out of the 10 that have curse seals. I hope to see you soon and assure you that they won't harm you. At least 2 of your children will receive training from Orochimaru. Sama himself, which I am very excited about. Kindly, Jade Haruno. Naruto gave a growl and then turned red. With a roar that left many in the village afraid he was coming for them. How mistaken they were. He was headed toward war. Kushina looked at him, but she just nodded. After bowing, Naruto turned to face the group of Hellsing members. We have 1 hour to move out. Our goal is to save those children and Ayane. Not the village, but the people were the reason Hellsing was created. Time to show off our steel. And our secondary objective? Asked Sarah's, who had only once seen Naruto's eyes in this particular state. As they were about to leave, Naruto said, kill everyone there. Kushina glanced at the scroll once more, barely recalling the traitors. Goddamn Haruno and Danzo. Kushina thought, I almost forgot they know the village weak points as well as some of the other council members. Country on the edge of fire. Sai, a boy, took charge of the mission to apprehend the children and the girl. He was the only one with the experimental level 3 seal that Lord Orochimaru had been working on, and he possessed a level 2 seal. Knowing that if anything happened to the captives, an enraged Hellsing would most likely kill them, he had ordered his men to avoid contact with them. Sai wanted this to end and had no desire to die. The people he worked for all had very flawed goals, but due to his upbringing, he was forced to follow orders regardless of his personal opinions. Please allow the kids to leave. I'll comply with your wishes if you do. The girl said. Ayane. I'm sorry, but I'm unable to part from you. Not just yet, Raisin growled at Sai. For some reason, the boy made Sai nervous, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. Perhaps it was the way the young man looked at him. According to the proverb that says, eyes are windows to the soul, the boy's soul was currently filled with nothing but hatred. That was not the first time Sai had seen eyes like that. From children of fathers he killed, to sisters of brothers he had murdered, and from survivors of entire clans he had destroyed. He had never been concerned about dying until now. After leaving, Sai bumped into his second in command. The other man remarked, "You know he will come with hate and rage." "Which is why I hold all the cards," replied Sai. Returned to Konoha. Locked and loaded was Naruto. For this one, he carried all 3 of his weapons. He reasoned that if his unique gun could stop a container, it could also stop someone who used a curse seal. Instead of his typical outfit, Naruto wore a tight black shirt, black pants, a black leather jacket that stopped just below his knees, a headband around his head, a sword strapped to his back, and all 3 of his guns visible thanks to a seal case that held more than 30 clips divided into 3 sections for his weapons and ninja gear. Sakura, Tayuya, Alexander, Kimimaro, and Sarah's all looked prepared for battle. Naruto gave them a nod. Naruto said, "You already know the odds are not in our favor, but I won't let them get away with this," as they hurried out the gate. At the border, 2 days later. It was Alexander and Naruto's turn to stand watch by a fire. The 2 men were silent. They had been consistently auguring for each other for the brief time they had known one another. Naruto was the strongest Hellsing member, with Alexander coming in third. Seated next to a rock, Naruto turned to face Alexander. Alexander said, "Tell me a bit about yourself, boy," out of the blue. "Me?" Naruto inquired, glancing at the bigger blonde. "You're right, boy. We only disagree. If we spoke like gentlemen, I think we'd understand each other a little better," Alexander remarked. "Well, throughout my life, I've been treated like nothing." Naruto remarked, "My dreams have always been there to keep me safe and sane." Alexander questioned, "You've never had anything else?" Naruto had to pause and gather his thoughts. "You're right, I had extra. I have my friends, my lover, and my sister. I'm furious with my father right now, but my mother and father have returned." Naruto questioned Alexander, who was seated across from him, "What are you getting at?" "Impress them, young man. All you can feel after losing them is a permanent void in your heart. You converse with yourself occasionally. I could have given them more of that, or I could have done this better. Simply learn to live with them. I am aware of your father and you. Give him a second chance, but don't hold off too long. You don't want to live a lifetime of hatred for him," Alexander said, peering into the flames. After glancing into the fire, Naruto turned to face Alexander. "It sounds like you're talking from experience, Alexander," Naruto replied. "Yes. I was a happy man before I joined the Vatican. I had a 5-year-old son and a 9-year-old daughter. Even though my father and I didn't get along, we were still polite enough to communicate. My family was massacred by a man who came to our house one day. The vampire was feeble. In front of my own eyes, he drained them completely. He left me with this facial scar. I promised him eternal vengeance for his kind. That's how I turned into this thing." With iron in his blood and fire in his eyes, Alexander uttered the words to avenge them. Naruto grinned. Naruto remarked, "I think we understand each other a little more now," as Sarah's and Kimimaro took over the shift reminder. "Yes. That we accomplish," Alexander remarked. The following day. As the Hellsing members arrived at the camp, they watched as their leader, a boy roughly Naruto's age, and the officers in charge strode up. With at least half of level 1 active, Naruto could tell that each was ready for a fight. The leader and Naruto nodded to one another. Hello, I am Uzumaki. San Sai. I would say good morning, but it's not good for you, Sai remarked. Let them go, Naruto commanded, his voice full of menace. I am unable to accomplish that. At least until you join us for Haruno. Sama, Sai uttered, staring intently into Naruto's eyes. Worried about them, Naruto asked, are they hurt in any way? Not at all. Sai saw Naruto sigh with relief and said, I personally made sure of that. Naruto inquired, anything else? Yes, you must all accompany us into the camp. If you try anything funny, the men are ordered to kill them, Sai uttered. Comprehensive, said Naruto, trailing in the other's footsteps. Alucard smirked in a nearby tree, realizing that Naruto's plan had been a simple one. Rewind. Alucard, I'm depending on you because this is a one-person plan, Naruto remarked. Alucard exclaimed, what is it, Naruto? As Naruto revived him. As you know, when we get there we're in for a heavy fight, Naruto replied. Yes, I am aware of that, Alucard replied. As long as Naruto had his trump card, everything would be okay. I can't use my trump card. Normally, I make use of my 5 tails and your power. We could be in a bit of a bind since you won't be there, Naruto remarked. Alucard questioned, what do you mean, Naruto? Once the chaos starts I want you to get them through a portal and as far away as possible, Naruto replied. The flashback ends. As Alucard disappeared into the darkness, he thought to himself, damned fool. And people thought I was crazy. At the camp. Many of the people in the area were staring at Naruto with their weapons raised, prepared for battle if necessary. Sakura stood close to Alexander and Sarah's, while Kimimaro stood near trembling Tayuya. They were led by Sai to the middle of the camp. Naruto exclaimed, Kon, Mogi, Udon, Raisin, Ayane. Chan. 2. San, Raisin uttered. Dear Naruto. Ni. San, Konohamaru, Mogi, and Udon cried out. Naruto. Kun. Widened Ayane's eye. Cried Ayane. How are you all doing? Sakura inquired. Sai. San has watched out for us, Ayane nodded, not realizing that her shadow was there. Ayane got up and gathered the kids as 2 people stepped up behind Naruto, Sakura, Tayuya, and Kimimaro each. Kimimaro looked at Sai and was certain that the boy was at least at his level, if not higher. Kimimaro covered his mouth as he coughed. The other 2 were free to escort them back to Konoha and I give you my word that they will be alright, sighed Sai, confident in his ability to command the others. You have my respect, but you will disregard it for your master. I can't let you live past this day, but I don't blame you. Alucard. As the shadows engulfed Ayane and the kids and disappeared, Naruto yelled. Sakura pulled out her pistol and shot the man on the right in the head. The other grabbed her before she flipped him over and lithed his chest up. Tayuya grabbed one of the people behind her before she threw him, spun around, and punched the other in his throat hard enough to cave it in, giving him a slow and painful death. Everyone with a curse seal started to flare up instantly when Sai leapt up into a tree and snapped his fingers. Naruto, Sarah's, Kimimaro, and Tayuya wasted no time in powering up. Sarah's teeth turned into fangs, Tayuya and Kimimaro reached level 1, Naruto activated his vampire powers but left the restrictions in place, and he pulled out his red gun, which he recently named JRIP-1. They stood back to back, bracing for the worst. The normal people ran in first, but Naruto was not prepared to handle them. He began a lengthy series of one-handed signs before he stopped, smiling before he let his hand drop. Wind style. Stormtrooper Jutsu. As a massive tornado encircled them and decimated the regular ninjas, Naruto yelled. Sai grinned and said, Hellsing is mine. Now that they were out of the way, he could really let loose. He then turned to face Naruto. I will retrieve him. Your instructions are to capture the intended targets. Capturing the others will only be a bonus if they survive, Sai stated as. Naruto pulled out both his guns and blocked the attack, but Sai was still skidding across the ground a little. Naruto held fast, then kicked Sai off him. Sai landed in his starting position before snapping his fingers and the others charged while he and Naruto began their deadly dance at high speeds. Sai charged at Naruto and drew his sword. Naruto drew Joshua and started to unload rounds on Sai. Sai either cut them up or jumped out of the way. alongside Alexander. Alexander lost no time in assuming his usual fighting stance as they appeared on either side of him. He hit the one on the left with a stab to his chest, making him growl. The other thought he was open before he was nearly decapitated. The other pulled off the blade, but found the power of the curse seal retreating from their body. Alexander started to laugh as he had gained 2 warriors all to himself. Then again, 5 of the remaining 15, not including their leader, stood back as if they were waiting on orders. What is going on? As he began to spit up blood, he asked. Alexander gave him a sly smile before chopping off his head. My magic appears to have weakened the curse seals. I look forward to this battle. Alexander charged the other. In company with Sakura. Sakura leapt out of the way of a kunai and brought her hands together in a rapid number of seals, knowing that she was going to have a difficult fight despite not being as strong as her brother or any of the others. Fire style. Jutsu with a flare explosion. Sakura yelled, shooting a big sphere of fire out of her mouth. Sakura smirked as she grabbed her sheath and blocked Sa's kunai strike, drawing both of her kodachi and slashing at the offender before the one holding the kunai glared at her and jumped back. The ball aimed right, but the person it was intended for jumped, but the resulting exploding sent him back. Thunder Gong Jutsu is a sound style. Clap your hands together, said the sound member. As the waves blew Sakura back, she held her ground, and before the other seemed to be doing hand signs either, he launched a large ball of fire at Sakura, who crossed her arms but took the full brunt of the attack in her arms. Before the 2 sound members could even start laughing, Sakura hit the ground, got up, and glared at them before starting another chain while the other 2 started their own. Sakura whispered, Genjutsu, Thousand's Blade, as the surroundings surrounding her opponents turned black. The 2 nin backed up together, neither of them very good at Genjutsu, so they were trapped. Then it started, both feeling like small cuts that got deeper and deeper until they felt like slabs of meat used by samurais to test their swords on pigs. Both tried to block their vitals, but it became too much and they both fell to the ground dead. Sakura appeared near them, breathing heavily as she hunched over, that battle having wasted some of her chakra, and the burns and bleeding that were on her body didn't help. She had been lucky, not thinking there would be a second occasion. The tallest off. Duty fighter, with black hair and the sound uniform of Orochimaru's bodyguards, grinned before advancing, while the smallest fighter gave him a fierce look. Dunro, stay where you are. We have other orders, and Sai. San has not given us any, remarked the smaller one. Slow down, Crow. San. Haruno. Sama gave me instructions to bring her back, and I will be rewarded if I succeed. Sakura glared at the man, Haruno. Sama misses her toy. If you take me to that bitch, I'll kill her slowly and then I'll come for you, Sakura charged, taking a stance with both swords at her sides. Dunro grinned and lunged back at Sakura, bringing their blades to bear as they met in the center, Dunro's fist raised and Sakura's ready. In company with Sarah's. Smirking bad guys were never a good sign, so Sarah's groaned as she dealt with 2 of the tougher members, but her experience with vampires had given her some honed skills for dealing with more than one enemy at a time. Sarah's grabbed the first one by the neck before she snapped it like a twig. Sarah's snapped her neck and leapt back, just as a kick almost took her head. The man had recovered too quickly, which worried her until she noticed that he was also a freak. Sarah's growled, recognizing him as just another freak. She wasted no time in charging the freak, jumping up and kneeing him in the nose, then using the last of her momentum to kick the other in his face, sending him skidding back. The freak grabbed her leg and slammed her into the ground. Sarah's managed to free herself by jumping back. Before glaring at the freak, Sarah's began a lengthy series of hand gestures. Blood style. Blood rain jutsu. As the blood of the fallen men started to rise into the air and turn into needles before flying at the 2 men, Sarah's yelled. It was exhausting to take on both of them. If she went into her berserker stage she could win, but it was next to impossible for her to control without someone she cared for nearby. The other charged at her and punched her in the throat. This would have been the end for a normal person, but Sarah's lightning reflexes allowed her to block the blow with her chin, and she lashed out with a kick that sent him into the freak. What the devil may care? As he stood up, Sarah's questioned. What's up, girl? Are you having some trouble? As Alexander materialized next to her, his blades prepared, he questioned. Don't think that I've forgiven you for stabbing me in my throat when I was 19, Sarah's withheld a glare from him as she withdrew a kunai. Alexander remarked, but I only ask forgiveness from God himself. With Kimimaro and Tayuya. The ones in the back had to have had the cruise seals for at least 3 years. Tayuya and Kimimaro had easily defeated the others because they were not experienced with them. The next two to step up were both roughly 5 feet 6 inches tall, wore black shirts with auto uniforms over them, and one had gray hair and the other black. Ola and Gray. Tayuya scowled at the pair. Ola shot her old friend a smile. Ola asked with a sly smile, "How's it been, Tayuya? Chan? I hear you fell from grace." Gray gave her a fierce look. "Cut the bullshit, Ola. We need to bring them back alive," replied Gray. After ripping off his vest and summoning his bone sword, Kimimaro charged toward Gray. Gray used a dagger to block his attack before turning and giving Kimimaro a hard right to the face. Kimimaro refused to back down. He broke skin, but was unfazed by the punch. The first to draw blood was Gray. "You're still no match for me, Gray," Kimimaro remarked, adopting his best posture. Gray grinned. "It's better than when I was with Kimimaro." "Senpai," the Gray man muttered, stomping the ground and summoning a two-edged blade. Ola and Tayuya engaged in a full-on taijutsu fight. In the battle, Tayuya appeared to be winning. Though Ola was losing this power struggle, she was still maintaining her composure. Ola avoided a kick to the face and took a hit to the kidney instead. Despite her pain, Tayuya remained hunched over and was struck in the spine. She landed on the ground and spun around just in time to see Ola perform a heel drop. Tayuya used her arms to block the attack, but she was nevertheless pushed to the ground. Tayuya glared at the woman, bringing her hands together. "Fire style. Fireball jutsu!" Tayuya exclaimed, sending a huge ball of fire skyward. Ola was hit in the body by the blast, but she turned over and landed with one leg extended and one hand on the ground. Ola was aware of Tayuya's chakra and her power over her, but she was not going to back down. She started to unleash her full power at level 1. Ola lunged towards Tayuya, but Tayuya refused to back down. Summon style. Arm of the beast. Tayuya put her flute to her lips and began to play a melody, and as she did, a monster with long bangs and a broken claw appeared. The beast charged, but Ola stopped it in one blow. "I'm over this argument. Together, let's take it to the next level." Ola cried out as her body started to change. First, her skin turned blue, and then big spikes appeared from her right elbow. "Yes, let's." With her hair growing longer, her eyes turning yellow, and her horns growing out, Tayuya yelled as she removed her cap. After taking off the kid gloves, it was time for a dance to the death. Tayuya charged Ola, blocking her powerful kick with her forearms. Ola felt the pressure of the kick crack her bones, but she released her hold and punched Tayuya in the face, sending her flying. Ola pulled out a few kunai and threw them at Tayuya, who deflected one, flipping to bounce off a tree. Tayuya charged at Ola, but Ola caught up to her, striking her in the face before retreating. Tayuya was bleeding profusely, but she barely avoided being struck in the face by a kunai. The two women shouted, "Fire style, fireball jutsu," and began a lengthy chain of signs. After the fireballs collided and the sea of flames subsided, Ola glared at Tayuya until she felt something sharp twist into her back, at which point she started to cough up blood and someone spoke from behind her. As Tayuya twisted the metal further into Ola's back, she said, "Funny thing about fire jutsu, it obscures your peripheral vision. I created a clone of Shadow and moved it to where I had been before. I've come around you and here we are," she concluded, pushing it through her heart to the very end. She then leapt back, extracted 8 kunai with explosive tags, and threw them to end her life. At the edges. "Big brother, this is getting boring," exclaimed a small female, about 13, who had green hair, a yellow right eye, and a green left eye. She leapt onto a rock and crossed her legs before turning to face their leader, who had his eyes closed. "When are we able to depart?" The young girl uttered those words. The boy pulled off his hood to reveal a boy with untidy black hair and green eyes. The boy appeared to be about Naruto's age, and there was a dragon tattoo on the right side of his face. "We know what we're supposed to do. We came here to obtain an accurate assessment of their power, Bara Chan, regardless of San's mission," Crow remarked. The girl crossed her arms and puffed out her chest, saying, "No fun at all." The girl uttered those words in partnership with Kimimaro. Almost on an equal footing with Gray, Kimimaro was skilled in the art of the sword in their respective family styles. Gray was the heavy style, and Kimimaro was the flower style. Both of them stood near the edge of a small lake, with Kimimaro holding a long sword, bleeding from wounds he had received, and almost completely out of chakra. Although Kimimaro had already broken 5 of Gray's swords and did not appear to be about to stop, Gray was in the same boat and was beginning to lose it. He was better than that traitor, but he also knew that Kimimaro was running out of time. "It's time to get over this," yelled Gray as his body began to change. His left arm exploded, leaving the forearm and hand, his muscles budged, and his skin turned a grassy green. "Are you ready to die, motherfucker?" Kimimaro's armor and mask fell from his face, and he coughed up a good deal of blood. His face was dripping with blood, leaving 2 trails behind as he glared at Gray. He had a significant disadvantage. He knew that using the curse seal's power would only hasten his demise. If he refrained from using it, Gray would murder him, and Gray had been the one to regularly rape Tayuya. He wiped his mouth and grinned, scarring Gray in the process. Since Kimimaro was a cold person, a smile from him would indicate that he was about to turn into a true demon. "This is for you, Tayuya." "Koi," Kimimaro uttered as he maxed out his power and started to push past his boundaries. "Kimimaro, I'll kill you here and now, even if it means losing my life," he cried, starting to transform. In partnership with Tayuya. Tayuya felt his power flare as she searched for love. She swore. Ola had moved away from her and Kimimaro as they started to fight. His chakra was half a mile from where she was, so she assumed they had moved. Despite knowing that Gray was her primary rapist and harbored a sick love for her, she forced Kimimaro to swear she would never use her full strength against him. There was no more time for Tayuya to waste. Tayuya thought, "Kimimaro, if you fight at this level for too long, you'll die." With Sai and Naruto 10 miles away from their original meeting spot, Naruto and Sai first appeared. While Naruto snatched up his katana and got ready to shoot Sai, Sai gave him a quick glance before drawing his own. Sai charged at a speed that Naruto felt was not appropriate. Naruto fired at Sai, but Sai split the shots in half. Sai slashed at Naruto from the side as he was on him. Naruto used JRIP to block before launching a katana attack. Naruto slapped in a new clip and ejected the old one, and Sai leapt back. Sai lunged forward and struck Naruto in the face. Naruto fired his pistol at point-blank range after blocking with his katana, but the bullet somehow managed to get through. After giving Sai a final blow that severed his shirt, Naruto threw him back. There were long, claw-like tentacles on Sai's back. Before the 2 claws encircled his arms, Sai laughed. Sai laughed, "This is the true power that they gave me LV3. It's a minor side effect, but still." After giving him a disgusted glance, Naruto took his shades and tucked them into his pouch. "You've turned into a monster," Naruto remarked. Sai turned to face Naruto. "You yourself are a monster," Sai uttered. "No. I'm a vampire," Naruto declared, his eyes turning blue rather than the typical red that accompanied Alucard's power. His fangs also started to grow. Sai unleashed his full power at level 1, charging and engaging Naruto in a strength testing battle. "Then let us see who is stronger. The monster or the vampire?" replied Sai. He was startled by Naruto before his chakra flared. Naruto cried out, "With pleasure, you twisted bastard," as they lunged at one another. In partnership with Kimimaro. Kimimaro had just grown his tail. His skin had turned brown, spikes had sprouted from his back, and a weapon resembling a drill had grown out of his left arm. Even though Gray was only a few inches taller than he was, Kimimaro could still support himself with her skills. He glared at Gray. Kimimaro lunged forward and raised his drill. It was rotating very quickly. Gray initiated a series of hand signals and leapt out of the way of the assault. Gray yelled, "Fire style, fireball jutsu," and unleashed a huge fireball towards Kimimaro. With his drill, Kimimaro thwarted the attack and then threw a big spear at Gray. Gray took hold of the spear and split it in half. Gray lunged forward, attempting to strike Kimimaro in the face, but Kimimaro sidestepped him and gave him a back kick instead. As Gray, Kimimaro leapt into the air and released a burst of spikes. Kimimaro landed on the ground as Gray made way for her. Gray materialized in front of Kimimaro, then sent him flying with a powerful punch to the gut. With a loud crash, Kimimaro coughed up blood. "What the hell?" He didn't hit me that hard, unless, damn. I'm running out of time, said Kimimaro. Before starting to grind his foot in, Gray leapt up and slammed a powerful foot into Kimimaro's chest, causing him to scream in agony. Kimimaro relaxed and became his usual self again. As he stomped his chest in, Gray started to laugh. Kimimaro would cry out each time his foot touched the ground. Coughing up blood, Kimimaro gave Gray a fierce look. Once I'm done with you, I'll have so much fun with Tayuya. Ha ha ha, I'm make that slut have my children, but before that happens I'm going to make you watch me we have fun, her moaning my name over and over again, said Gray with a loud laugh. Feeling his power returning, Kimimaro yelled, don't, coughs up blood, you dare, touch a hair on Tayuya. Koi. Just as Gray opened his mouth to speak, two bodies crashed into him. It was two of Tayuya's demon puppets, he saw as he looked. When he struck one, the other leapt away. He turned to face Tayuya, who was standing in front of Kimimaro. Tayuya gave Kimimaro a look. With cold eyes and a fiery voice, Tayuya reassured her friend, saying, don't worry. He won't hurt you again. I swear it. Kimimaro struggled to get up but stumbled. Before coughing up blood, Kimimaro exclaimed, more scared for her than for himself, don't you dare try to fight him, Tayuya. After grinning, Tayuya shook her head. She removed her vest from Hellsing. Tayuya's chakra flared as she said, it's my turn to protect you, Kimimaro. Koi, then she glared at Gray. The girl charged at Gray, exclaiming, and unlike Kimimaro I have no limit. Before he realized what his toy was, Gray's jaw had broken from shock. He slid across the surface and got back up. After he had stood up again, he snapped his jaw back into place. Never again would he undervalue her. She recognized his hand signals instantly, so she began by making a few of her own. Gray exclaimed, Earth style, Cushing Rain Jutsu. A sizable piece of earth rose and then began to fall rapidly to the ground in the form of several tiny pebbles. Tayuya exclaimed, Wind style, Barrier of K's Jutsu. As a strong wind enveloped her. With her abnormal speed, Tayuya broke free of the barrier and charged toward Gray. She delivered a roundhouse kick, and Gray ducked his head to avoid getting in the way. After blocking that one, Gray struck her in the chest with his palm, sending her flying and knocking her unconscious. Gray approached her and shot her a lustful glance. She was only in her bindings when he reached down and tore off her shirt. He gave her a smile. I think I'll take you in front of Kimimaro. Koi, Gray uttered while licking his mouth. Kimimaro shouted, Dance of the Willow. As he suddenly materialized, holding two long bone swords. The angry man almost beheaded Gray, so Gray leapt back. Even as Kimimaro spun and slashed at him, he kept jumping back. There were a few cuts and gashes that he had to get. Kimimaro's left leg gave way and he stopped. Seizing the opportunity, Gray pulled Kimimaro and threw him into a nearby tree. Kimimaro screamed in agony as she crashed into the tree. Standing up, Kimimaro scowled at Gray. He threw away his swords and then materialized another. It measured at least 4 feet in length. He extended it out in front of him and then reached toward the tip with his hand. As he streaked toward Gray, Kimimaro exclaimed, Dance of the Rose. When Kimimaro dug his feet into the ground, spun around, and slammed the sword of bone into Gray's right collarbone, Gray was unprepared and leapt to the side. After yelling in pain, Gray punched Kimimaro until he fell to the ground. Gray yelled, Fire style, Fireball Jutsu, and hurled a huge ball of fire at Kimimaro. He was startled by Tayuya, who was gesturing with her hands. I told you Baka, that I'll protect you this time. Water style, Aqua Blast Jutsu. Tayuya exclaimed, dodging the fireball with a large that had just blasted out of the nearby river. While the fire was put out by the water, Gray lunged through the smoke and delivered a punch. Tayuya ducked beneath it, then she grabbed his arm, kicked him in the chest, and wrapped her thighs around his head and arm. You have no idea how long I've waited for this. To make you pay for every time I felt your filthy hands on my body. You treated me like a whore. But now I can square the books, you pig. Tayuya screamed. She tried her hardest to square her legs and gave a crack to her head. Gray went limp in her presence. 3 kunai were pulled out by her and thrown into his manhood, his head, and his heart. Her inner sneer was lit up. He vowed never to hurt another girl the way he had her, even if he survived the other two. She hurried to assist Kimimaro in getting up. Holding his chest, Kimimaro inquired, "Are you alright, Tayuya?" "Koi?" Tayuya grinned. "Baka, I should be asking you that. You basically crippled yourself," Tayuya replied. With a smile, Kimimaro planted a kiss on her forehead. "It's alright. As long as I have a reason to fight, I'll find the will to move," Kimimaro replied. Tayuya took a risk that she never would have taken. At his words, she started to cry, but not with sorrow but with pure joy. "You're still a big baka to me," Tayuya remarked as she started to leave the combat zone. In company with Sakura. The big fist smashed into the ground, but Sakura leapt out of the way. Danro. He sprang away from Sakura's attempt to cut off his hand as she spun around. Sakura took out her handgun and started shooting. 3 shots struck him in the chest. As the bullets hit the target, he laughed. Once more, he lunged toward Sakura and struck her in the abdomen. Sakura's eyes widened, and then he gave her a punch that sent her flying. Sakura rolled across the floor and came to a stop. She had some minor scrapes but nothing serious. Sakura yelled, "Fire style, fireball jutsu," and unleashed a massive fireball towards Dunro. He was struck by the fireball, but he walked out of the flames unfazed. Dunro chuckled and lunged towards Sakura. Sakura prepared to defend herself by getting to her feet and drawing her 2 swords. Dunro delivered a powerful blow. Sakura readied herself for the blow, but a hand prevented it. Sakura turned to face Ceres, who was standing there. Sakura saw the angry expression on Ceres's face, which indicated that Dunro was in trouble. Throw his hand aside, Ceres, then leap and spin around before kicking him so forcefully that he travels at least 30 feet on the ground. Sakura grinned and exclaimed, "Ceres. Chan." Alexander appeared, and Ceres grinned at Sakura. "Come on Sakura, I know this one little bastard isn't giving you trouble." "You're Sakura Uzumaki. Little sister of Naruto Uzumaki Hellsing," Ceres replied. Sakura's eyes took on a determined expression. Sakura charged at Dunro, yelling, "You're right. I am Naruto's sister and I won't fail him here." Dunro exclaimed, "What difference does it make whose sister you are?" Sakura charged at Doruno, exclaiming, "To me. It makes all the difference in the world. Hellsing style, Hellbreaker." Dunro raised his arms to block Sakura's onslaught, but in her initial strike, she dealt such a heavy blow that she broke not just his guard but also her wrist and sword. Sakura whinnied, drawing her other sword to full length before severing his arm. After hearing Dunro's agonized screams, Sakura quickly kicked him 5 times on the head before severing her sword and killing him. Sakura hit the floor with barely a concussion. Tayuya walked Kimimaro over while Ceres assisted her in getting up. Gazing around, Ceres asked, "Is everyone here?" Kimimaro declared, "Naruto Sama is not accounted for." Sakura remarked, "He must still be fighting Sai." Tayuya let out a moan. "That's about all we fucking need." "Fearless leader is probably dishing out a good ass wiping on that bastard Sai," Tayuya replied. Once she said those words, a tremendous amount of power was apparent. It seemed as though 2 demon forces had determined that Earth would serve as their theater of operations. One had the unpleasant aura of Orochimaru. The other had the impression of belonging to a millennium old piece of history. It appeared to be more malevolent than even Kyuubi. Alexander started to chuckle. With the madness in his eyes, Alexander said, "I never got to fight Alucard at his fullest, but if it was anything like this, I'm sure I would have been killed in moments." With Bara and Crow. Bara was amazed at the power she felt right then. "Brother, is it possible for me to fight him?" Bara asked, grinning like a crow and patting her head. Smirking at his younger sister, Crow said, "Not yet, Bara. Chan. This is one of the best fights I've felt in a long time. Besides, it's rude to interrupt someone else's fun." Bara folded her arms. Bara did a handstand and said, "Okay, brother, but when we do fight, I get the fist attack." Crow chuckled a little. "As you wish, my dear Bara. Chan," Crow remarked, causing her to gleam. With Sai and Naruto, just minutes before the power outage. Sai rushed towards Naruto and struck him with his sword. After deflecting the blow, Naruto turned JRIP towards Sai's head. Sai slightly shifted his head to allow the bullet to miss. After leaping backward and holstering his weapon, Naruto took off his shades and hat. Naruto's body started to glow black and yellow. Enough games, Sai. We both know that skill will not decide this contest today. So I suggest you release your full curse seal, before I decide to become hell, he said. A purple power surged out of Sai's body, as a domino effect began to occur between them both. If you looked closely enough, you could see a snake and a fox engaged in combat as the two forces collided and appeared to attack each other without mercy. Naruto declared, releasing control restrictions to LV2 until target is eliminated, as his black pants and blue blazer were all that remained of his body after his jacket had virtually broken off. His left eye turned red and his right eye blue, while his left eye remained purple. His fangs grew longer, and in contrast to the clam storm in his right eye, he noticed a mad gleam in his left eye. Sai's body started to swell and he roared. Now that he was 7 feet tall, his skin had turned ghost white, and 2 blades were protruding from his right hand where his sword had broken. His back was torn apart by several tentacles, which left wide holes in the earth. The fearless black eyes had given way to a crazy yellow one. Sai seemed to smile and exclaimed, "Join me in this dance to the death Hellsing." Naruto gave him a smile before slightly raising himself into the air. Naruto exclaimed, "I thought you'd never ask for a dance, Sai-san." Sai's aura turned purple, while Naruto's turned red and black. Before colliding, both shoot into the sky at extremely high speeds. They both leapt back, only to collide once more. Sheathing his sword, Naruto pulled out Jackal and Joish before launching a barrage of bullets that acquired a black hue. Sai cried out as the bullets struck every part of his body, but the pain soon went away. Then, he charged at Naruto and attempted to behead him. Naruto retreated just enough to sustain a gash. A falling roundhouse that Naruto threw struck Sai in the shoulder. Sai struck back, unleashing a raw chakra cannon on Naruto at close range. After taking the brunt of the blow, Naruto walked away with a few cuts on his arms and legs. He ripped off the remnants of his blazer and gave Sai a menacing look. Sai was, like it or not, a formidable opponent. Sai unleashed all of his tentacles at Naruto, but the latter dodged them, flipped out of the way, and then got sliced in the leg by one that had escaped his notice. Naruto then ducked behind Joshua and raised his katana before launching himself at Sai. Sai chuckled while launching several fireballs. Sai used 4 of Naruto's tentacles to stab him in the stomach as he slashed through them as if it were nothing. Naruto leapt to his feet and started fighting Jackal. After Sai stepped aside to avoid the demonic bullets, they turned back and broke his tentacles. Sai trailed behind Naruto as he shot higher into the air. Naruto glanced down before he stopped and shot at Sai at such a high altitude that he appeared to take on a new red hue. Sai halted and raised his defenses, but Naruto struck him with both guns before shooting him in the face. As each bullet struck Sai, he let out a scream. As they got closer to the ground, Naruto smiled at him. Naruto angrily exclaimed, "This is my stop, asshole," and released Sai. Sai struck the ground with a force that was comparable to an earthquake jutsu of an elite B rank. Sai was already barely hanging on to life in the deep crater. He had multiple broken bones and a large spike, like boulder impaled in his stomach. Naruto landed next to him, his long red coat dangling over his shoulder and the scar across his face already healed. JRIP was in his left hand. His sword was in a unique sheath that resembled a dagger, and his other 2 guns were holstered. Naruto leveled his weapon at Sai's visage. "Wait. Did I give a challenge to you, Hellsing?" Sai inquired, hoping that he had at least engaged in a decent fight. Before pointing it squarely between the eyes, Naruto had to pause and consider. Naruto shot Sai in the face and said, "You'll have your answer when you get to hell." Next to him, 2 figures emerged. "Who are you two?" Naruto inquired as his coat materialized and was largely fixed by his power. Crow shut his eyes. "Pardon me, Hellsing-san. My name is Crow. Not even a hint of a last name. This is Bara, my younger sister. She also lacks a last name," remarked the man who was now going by Crow. "Amazing, Hellsing-kun, that was." Bara jumped around and yelled. Naruto remarked, "He was just another of my enemy's broken toys, playing his master's games." Naruto started to move away. The Crow remarked, "They say that those who die in the service of their masters are the most happy people in the world," as Naruto started to pass both Bara and him. Naruto paused for a moment. "I had no idea." I only care about my family's happiness, a furious Naruto responded, offended that a boy who had submitted to someone else's will had the audacity to ask him such a question. Crow said, and neither do we. Orochimaru is only a means to an end. Don't get me wrong, Hellsing, our paths will cross again, before he and Bara disappeared. Naruto deflected a straight sword that was aimed at him from his right by raising his JRIP. Bara was holding a big axe, so he had to drop his coat to stop it. He confused the two of them. Bara fell to her feet, flipping over. Bara charged once more, but Naruto kicked out to block her blow. Bara danced out of the kick's path. When Crow tried to stab him, Naruto pushed his sword forward. After blocking the blow, Crow threw a knife, which Naruto batted away with his right hand while rolling and the axe fell from behind him. Joshua was drawn to Naruto. Crow sliced the bullets in half as he fired at them. Before they could both pick up their clocks and arrange them around themselves, Naruto stood up. Even though they only used a small amount of power, Bara knew they both outclassed Sai in power the moment he appeared overly excited about something. Hellsing. Kun, that was fun, Bara remarked, becoming her usual playful self. As they locked eyes, Crow remarked, Hellsing. San, we are not enemies, but we are also not allies. We seek only one thing in this world. And what would that be? Inquired Naruto prior to receiving a kiss from Bara.
She was thrown off by Naruto and ended up landing on her brother's shoulder.
What the hell, I didn't even see her move. Could she really be that fast? Said Naruto. Hellsing. San, you'll know when we meet again, said Crow, allowing Bara to jump off his shoulder and give Naruto a wave. Bara said, bye. Bye Hellsing. Kun, as they both disappeared. Naruto was furious. The stage and the people on it appeared to have undergone a significant transformation. And to make matters even more intriguing, there appeared to be two more strong players.
Despite working for Orochimaru, Bara and Crow insisted that he was not their boss.
In addition to the others. When the other children arrived, they all sobbed.
Sakura was trying her hardest to keep Kimimaro alive as he was on the verge of death. Ceres and Alexander made an effort to keep the children quiet, but they ran into issues. You need to be strong, Ayame, Alucard remarked.
Ayame gave Alucard a glare. How can I be strong when the love of my life is fighting something that even a cage would have problems with? Ayame screamed.
Alucard grinned.
In life I was called Alucard, but I went by two other names. Valve the Impaler and Dracula.
I was one of the strongest vampires alive.
Naruto is much stronger than I was in that level. I'd be pressed to beat him if it truly came to blows between us, but Naruto doesn't know that, stated Alucard. A tiny portal opened, revealing Naruto standing next to them wearing his jacket.
He scanned the area before deciding on Kimimaro.
The children ran over to Naruto, who said, come, we have to go to Konoha and get him treatment or else he'll die. Raisin sobbed, saying, we knew that you wouldn't abandon us too. San. After giving him a smile, Naruto tousled his hair. Of course Raisin, Udon, Mogi. Chan, Hanabi. Chan, Konohamaru. I'll always come if you're in trouble, Naruto replied. They started the arduous journey back to Konoha.
Tower of Hokage.
In Kushina's office sat Minato Namikaze. When everything was less confusing, she was ready to put her son in the doghouse. Previously, she had been confused because she was relieved that her husband was still alive and that he was doing well. Minato, while I'm glad that you're alive, I have to ask you, what the hell were you thinking leaving our son to those bastards? Said Kushina.
Minato was a deadly shinobi, but he was also whipped, just like almost every other husband in the world.
Kushina, I believe in this village, Minato uttered. Kushina appeared to be red-eyed. Faith? Faith? That's all. Minato, I have the reports from all of the attacks that Naruto had suffered in the last 13 years of his life. Most were civilians, but some were borderline assassins, from our own village. How could you have such faith in this place? Replied Kushina. I have such faith, because Konoha is the place I was born, the place I was raised, the place I wanted to die protecting. And I was hoping my son would be the same way, Minato said. Kushina gave a headshake. Minato putting fate in such a place. You might as well have told them that he was just another orphan who was nothing special. At least then he could have had a chance to grow up and be the man he wanted to be, Kushina replied. Minato cast a downward glance. I believed that my request would suffice, Minato remarked. Kushina sighed as she leaned back. It wasn't nearly enough for hearts full of hate and sorrow, Kushina said. Alongside Rin. Kakashi was pressing Rin against the wall while Rin was kissing him. While having lunch in her apartment, she and Kakashi got into a fight over something, which quickly escalated into yelling and kissing. Rin retreated from Kakashi's grasp. Rin said, Kakashi, we have to stop, as her lust began to overwhelm her. Kakashi unbuttoned her shirt and started to twick her hard nipples. Why? You've wanted this since we were genin, so just a little moan for me, Rin. Chan, replied Kakashi. When Rin regained her composure, she straightened up and buttoned her shirt before slapping Kakashi. Look Kakashi, that was years ago. I'm not that girl who would whore herself out to the best, just because he was good at fighting. I'm a better person than that. I no longer see you like that. I have a person who is precious to me and I don't want to drive him away, because of something like this, stated Rin. Kakashi scowled. It had been weeks since he'd been rejected by any woman, not even a romantic one. As he touched her hair, Kakashi said, Rin. Chan, I want to be with you in more ways than one, but his hand was quickly taken away. Rin said, Kakashi, it's best if you leave now, before I hurt you, to Kakashi's side. Kakashi licked her ear and said, you know you'll want me soon, and then I'll make every one of your desires real, before leaving her home. Rin scowled at a photo of her former squad before putting it away. Back then, as well as now, Kakashi was an ass. That aspect of him would most likely never change. Rin shut her door and then proceeded to the office. After all, she had paperwork to complete. Kushina let out a sigh. She had dispatched the team on a mission to retrieve those children in Ayame 2 days prior. More than the others, Naruto was the cause of her concern. Just as she was about to leave for home, Ibiki walked into her office and gave her a bow. What is it, Ibiki? Kushina inquired. It's urgent, Hokage. Sama. Ibiki stated, the team just arrived at the gates, carrying the hostages. The news made Kushina smile. That's great, Kushina uttered, but as soon as he saw Ibiki's face, his smile vanished. Ibiki, what happened? Are they okay? Kushina inquired. She was a mother first, even though she was the Hokage. Kimimaro is not doing well. His blood loss is substantial. Sakura is also low on chakra, and Naruto is hurt but has mostly recovered. Everyone else is doing well, according to Ibiki. Kushina said, get Tsunade down there and help them. Naruto is already sleeping, and Rin has already begun to attack Sakura. Ibiki said, Tsunade is currently on her way to look at Kimimaro. Kushina scowled. Why didn't I know about this? Kushina inquired. As much as I appreciate Hokage Sama, I'm no longer just an Anbu Black Ops. Ibiki said, I'm also a member of Hellsing, disappearing. In the medical facility. Naruto had his back to a wall. In order to bandage it and take his jacket off his shoulders, he had both his shirt and jacket taken off. Naruto was not even aware of Sai's nasty wounds during the battle. The children, like the others, had all been arranged in a room. Naruto leaned against the wall and then peered into the medical chamber. Kimimaro, with the assistance of Rin, Shizune, and Tsunade, was fighting for his life inside. Tayuya, sitting opposite Naruto, looked depressed. He knew how much those two loved one another. The traces of tears were still visible in her eyes. You ought to feel proud of him, Tayuya looked up to Naruto. Happily? Tayuya cried, the man I love is dying in there, and there's not a damn thing I can do about it, getting to her feet. You have the option to pray. He possesses strength. Not in terms of body, but in terms of mind and emotions. Naruto remarked, he decided to shield you from the dark by using his immense power. Saying, he didn't have to use that deadly power, Tayuya spoke. Naruto pulled out Joshua and took a seat. Naruto sighed and watched Tsunade, Shizune, and Rin leave the room. He didn't have to. He wanted to, he said. With a hopeful glance at Tsunade, Tayuya inquired, how is Kimimaro? Kun? I'll tell you what, it wasn't easy. Rin grinned at her boss and said, he seems to be harder to kill than Naruto here. We had to isolate the virus in his chest, and the curse seal just made things harder. The majority of the virus was contained, but it is now acting like 8 gates. He will ultimately perish if he uses the Crusade seal. Apart from that, he will be alright. With a smile on her face, Tayuya started to cry. She turned to face Naruto, who put a consoling hand on her shoulder and sobbed into his chest. She kept saying, thank you, in a whisper while Naruto patted her back. After all, learning that the person you loved more than life was going to pass away wasn't something that happened every day. Hellsing headquarters, after 2 weeks. All Hellsing agents were called back to the main base by Naruto, who also ordered them to rest for the day. In his office, he was sleeping himself. Sitting next to him, Rin was drafting a report on a project that the Science Division would shortly be working on, which Tsunade would then present to Kushina and the council. Hey, Rin, Naruto asked, making her blush a little. I have a question. Why have you been so tense when Kakashi is sent to deliver a message? What do you mean, Naruto? Rin inquired, stifling a laugh. Naruto glared at her with his open eye. A knock on Naruto's door was met with his response, it's okay if you don't want to tell me, but make no mistake, I care for you because you are important to me, and if that bastard hurt you in any way, I'll kill him. Go in, Rin commanded. Zabuza walked in the doorway, Sakura and Haku beside him. Zabuza was the commander of Squad 15 and the head of the blade training. After Zabuza set a scroll on Naruto's desk, the character started to examine it but stopped in the middle of his speech. Is this a joke? Exclaimed Naruto. Not a joke. As Naruto disappeared, Zabuza remarked, you'd better get down there now, before they do anything. What was on that paper anyway? Rin inquired as she raised her drink. Zabuza gave Rin a look. An open proposal to declare war on Hidden Sound, Zabuza said. Rin set down her cup and turned to face Zabuza. Rin exclaimed, are they insane?
Haku said, clam down, Rin.
San, hoping that she hadn't agitated the elderly woman. Why is declaring an open war on sound so bad? Their attack came first, Sakura remarked. The horrors of war are too recent for you two to remember. To put it concisely, it's the stuff nightmares are made of, Rin remarked. Council chambers. Naruto suddenly materialized in the council chambers, surveying the two sides with an aura. They infiltrated the village and managed to take our young, said Sume. You were to blame for that. An elder yelled, you ought to have been more vigilant following the events at the Chunin exams. Minato yelled, everyone clam down, but her words were ignored. Naruto displayed some of his abilities. Enija. This makes no sense. You want to declare open warfare against an enemy for whom we don't know the precise location, Naruto remarked. Untrue. Minato stated, Jiraiya. Sensei sent us a message initially stating that they are stationed in the land of rice and grass. Alright, that does help, but not significantly. We also need to keep in mind that Rain is embroiled in a civil war, Waterfall is neutral, and we don't know who Grass supports, Naruto added. He is correct. We might as well be attempting to destroy an entire nation if we move before learning more about our enemies. How would that reflect on us? Sarutobi was questioned. Reserving a seat for himself, Jiraiya remarked, pretty damn bad, old man. What are you doing here, Jiraiya? Sama? Kushina raised an eyebrow. Making a brief introduction. Jiraiya declared, I've recently come upon a group of ninja who want to eradicate war completely. Heishi questioned, and this is good because? Akatsuki, a group that just so happens to have ties to sound, Orochimaru, Haruno, and Danzo, is their primary target. Despite the fact that someone in my network informed me that they had agreed to meet with Konoha, Jiraiya stated that they only wanted to have 5 representatives present because that is the number of people they were bringing. Kushina inquired, do you know anything else about this group? Alright. Jiraiya shocked everyone by saying, it's just a rumor, but it says that each of them is a cage-level ninja. Naruto surveyed his surroundings. Hokage. Sama, give this mission to the Hellsing organization. This is exactly what we need, Naruto remarked, turning to face his mother. Kushina appeared to consider it for a moment. Because of the increased stakes, I was hesitant to let Hellsing lead this mission. This mission will be led by Minato. Kushina stated, he will choose his squad for it as well. Well, Since Kakashi and Rin are both very helpful on this mission, I'll be taking them. Along with Naruto, I'll also be taking Miss Runa because of her excellent skills, Minato remarked. Naruto gave Minato a scowl. Keep going, Minato-san. Hellsing has 2 members among those listed, indicating that I am in charge of them. Not yours. Naruto exclaimed. Who the hell does this man think he is ordering my people to accompany him? Said Naruto. Minato let out a sigh. You are the best, you and yours. If you release restriction number 3, Miss Runa will be nearly as strong as you. I apologize, but Hokage Sama gave me the go ahead for this mission. You and the others listed must go with me, Minato said. Naruto snarled. With his fangs exposed, Naruto questioned, is that an order, Minato? As Minato met his son's eyes, his own eyes hardened. Yes, it is. You are my subordinate until this mission is completed, and you will not piss without my knowledge or consent, Minato declared. With the help of his jackal, Naruto disappeared into the night, leaving Minato as a flash of yellow. The two emerged in the middle, but Minato's kunai was at his throat and Naruto's own gun was pointed at his face. Be at the gate at 5 o'clock and tell Runa and Rin as well, Minato uttered, putting down her gun and approaching a startled Kushina who hadn't anticipated her son being so agitated. Naruto glared at Minato and exclaimed, we're not done here. It's enough. Please proceed to my office, Commander Hellsing, and wait. In a little while, I will speak with you. Sama Namikaze with an angry look at Minato, Kushina remarked, I must remind you that you are no longer Hokage and the unit of Hellsing is an independent organization that falls under the Hokage's control, but work differently. Minato nodded and then bowed. In the office of the Hokage, Naruto approached Kushina, who appeared at ease. She said, sit, in a way that sounded simultaneously like an order and an invitation. After Naruto sat down, she looked at her son. Naruto, I recognize that you and your father are going through a difficult time right now, but I am unable to authorize you to take the lead on this mission, Kushina said. But why, San? Naruto questioned, turning to face his mother. Yeah, for one excellent reason. Minato is an experienced ninja with years more experience and skill than you. Kushina remarked, I'm not saying you're not powerful, son. I'm just saying this matter is a little more delicate. Naruto gave a nod. I comprehend, San, Naruto uttered. Alright. Son, go home. Naruto walked out, and Kushina said, you have a mission to pack for. Inside the building. Gritting his teeth, Naruto took out his jackal and leveled it. He holstered it and left to pack at his house. He once witnessed Sarah's preparing food in his house. She gave him a smile as she turned around. Love, welcome home. Why do you feel so depressed? Asked Sarah's as he briefly moved away from the stove. Naruto took off his jacket and the majority of his weapons before settling down on the couch. Naruto glared at the wall and said, I had to go on a mission with that bastard father of mine. After giving him a cheek kiss, Sarah stood up and moved toward the stove. Well, it's a good thing I was frying some of my famous fish, Sarah's replied. Naruto grinned. My favorite, Naruto said, planting a kiss on Sarah's. After breaking off the kiss, Naruto moved toward the restroom. I'm going to quickly take a shower, Naruto declared. Shreyas gave Naruto a smile. You better move quickly, my love. I wish to provide you with an unforgettable evening, declared Sarah's. After 20 minutes, Naruto emerged from the shower and came back sporting a pair of red shorts. After enjoying a delicious dinner, they retired to their respective beds. Sarah's wore an all-black nightgown that accentuated her long legs and breasts. After pulling Sarah's away, Naruto laid her down on the bed. She gave a soft moan as Naruto climbed in behind her and bit her neck gently. Saying, I love you, Sarah's Victoria, Naruto spoke. And I am Hellsing, Naruto Uzumaki. As they were about to drift off to sleep, Rin entered through the open door. Naruto, I received a mission request, and I started Rin, who blushed and hurried out the door. Glancing toward the door, Naruto questioned, what was that all about? Sarah's chuckled a little. As Sarah's and Naruto fell asleep, Sarah's thought, I know what it's about, but she doesn't, at least she won't admit it to herself. Alongside Rin. With her shorts down, Rin sat on her couch and moved her fingers in and out of her body. Oh my god. Fuck Naruto, the same. Aw. Naruto, the I'm coming. Rin exclaimed as she approached. Leaning back, she saw that she just indulged her masturbation to one of the few people who truly felt like family.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.